Uh-huh.
That's what they say.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Big Trouble Little Podcast, episode 252. I am Joe Dubs.
I'm Andy.
I'm Chaz.
I'm Zach.
I'm the Zachinata. If you haven't noticed, we are doing Terminator 2 Judgment Day for Chaz's mystery theme that is still going. We have this movie and the next whatever movie he's picked, and then we have to guess whatever theme it is. So we're going to be talking about Terminator 2 today. And I know I said it 1,000 times. I said it on my stream where Andy made fun of me. Terminator is my favorite franchise and movie. And
I don't remember what I said. Did I even say anything divisive? I think I was just...
I think he says you were just being like a smart aleck. You're like, you love Terminator? No way.
That sounds like me. Sounds like something I would do.
Yeah, so Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Again, he picked this because it's part of his theme. But there's definitely a tone shift from Terminator 1 to Terminator 2, by the way. Because Terminator 1 is like more of like a horror in a way, where it's like a machine is chasing after you, kind of like a Michael Myers. They have it in Terminator 2 with the liquid Terminator, but it's more like action thriller. And some people say that this is probably one of the best sequels ever made. I would say so. But so if you remember, because we have to kind of like talk about one before we talk about two, because Arnold Schwarzenegger stars in 1, 2, 3, Dark Fate, and Genesis. So he starred in like 5 out of the 6 Terminator movies. In the first one, he's the bad Terminator. In the second one, he's the good Terminator. Because the mission in the first one was to kill Sarah Connor so that John Connor would not be born. And then I guess Skynet, with all the time travel fuckery, is like, we fucked up the first time. Now we got to kill John Connor in the second one. So that's the mission for the liquid Terminator guy.
Wouldn't it have been nice in 1992? When did this come out?
92.
92. Well, whenever. Wouldn't it have been nice back then to go see this movie in theaters for the first time and not be spoiled on what happens in it? But you did see Terminator 1, and they do such a cool job at the beginning of, two people arrive from the future. One of them's the Arnold Schwarzenegger big scary robot man, and you're like, that's the bad guy right there. I saw Terminator. That guy's evil. And then they let you just keep thinking that up until the scene in the mall where he takes a shotgun out of the roses, one of the coolest scenes in the movie. And then you're like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
It almost kind of has like and we're probably going to talk about this in our Metal Gear Solid. Kind of has like a Metal Gear Solid 2 kind of feel, where you're like going into this knowing, hey, this person's this character, and then like you get swerved, bro. The little Vince Russo swerve, but this movie's better than Vince Russo. So I just did 2 connections of 2 different podcasts, by the way. So shout out Getting Some Color, and shout out to a podcast to surpass Metal Gear. I always fuck up that title, but
we'll figure out a way to shorten it. It'll become like Surpass Metal Gear or something.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would like to say, like, we shouldn't like summarize because everybody fucking seen this movie. I think like the whole planet Earth probably saw this. So there, I guess we could go on. What is your favorite scenes in this movie? Because I have plenty, and there's a plethora. I fucked up that word, but from beginning to end, I think the movie is chef's kiss. Because again, you start off when he's in the bar, which again is a funny scene, because the motorcycle guys are like, get the fuck out of here, and he takes the cigar and shit, and then I always like pop when he throws the guy onto the stove, and he's like, and he gets all burnt up and shit. I don't know why. I just think it's funny just seeing the guy just burn on the stove.
I don't want to be too much of like, a Deborah Downer here, but
Mhm.
you said the movie's good throughout, and that's always been my impression of it. So this time, like, I was like, oh, this is like the baddest movie ever made, right? I fucking love this movie to death. So I'm just look for stuff to like nitpick just so we have something to discuss.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't have to try that hard. Something I never really think about, the middle, like the dead center of the movie, kind of gets a little slow for me. Like when they get away from the city and she just goes and talks to her friends in the desert, and they're trying to figure out, they're going to go back into town and attack. What's his face? The guy Miles, is that his name?
Miles Dyson.
Yeah, Miles
Dyson.
Dyson. There's like a middle part where there's, like my adrenaline wears off a little bit.
Well, you need that so you can calm down.
I guess it's just I don't know. The beginning and the end of the movie are just so finely tuned and so much fun. Again, it's not like it's ruined the movie for me. It's just if I'm looking for something, the middle of the movie gets a little slow for a minute, but it kind of has to in order to develop its plot. I don't know how you would fix that. I'm just saying as long as
I agree with you because that's like one of the scenes where I kind of like chill out, but you also get like cool scenes where John Connor, who never had a father figure because obviously Kyle Reese is the father and he dies in the first movie, so he has no father figure, and you kind of see him have talks with the Terminator in a sense where he's learning stuff. By the way, deleted scene, because remember he says he's a neural net processor, a learning computer, and they delete a scene where remember the garage area where they take the bullet holes out of Arnold. Apparently, there's a scene where they ask him about his learning abilities and stuff, and he's only on read-only mode. So he's only following based off of what John Connor told him in the future to come back and do, and that's it.
Yeah, they got to do a cold reboot on him. Yeah,
so they take the chip out, and there's a scene where like Sarah Connor is like about to take a fucking mallet and like smash it, and then Edward Furlong's greatest acting ever, and like whine like a bitch and said, "No, we got to save him. He needs to learn."
Is that a cut scene?
It's a deleted scene.
Oh, it's in this DVD version I have. It's weird.
Oh, so you probably got the director's cut or whatever.
Yeah, it says enhanced edition. It was like when they first, DVDs came out and they were still kind of like standard. I mean, of course, DVDs are standard definition, but they weren't doing anything to the picture. And then they said, we're going to make the picture look high definition. It's a high definition DVD, which it technically isn't, but it was like one of the first ones they did. It's in a big fancy silver case or what the fuck ever.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool.
But I guess they just threw in a bunch of scenes. I didn't know it. I've owned this thing since like 2003 or something. Like I never knew.
And it's funny, the quote that I have under my name, "No fate but what we make ourselves," was cut on the original theatrical version that came out in '92. Because I think like John Connor only mentions it a little bit where he's like, "No fate until we make ourselves," and they're like, "Oh no, he's gonna go kill Miles Dyson and stuff," and that's when they jet to the house and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they mention it more times because it was cut in the first movie too, because Kyle Reese tells that quote to Sarah Connor, and then Sarah Connor tells it to John Connor, and that's why he remembers the quote and stuff. But that quote itself too, because you said that's like the boring part in a sense a little bit. Think about it this way too. They escaped the Terminator. They went off grid. Essentially, let's just play that the Terminator just like doesn't know where they are anymore because they're off the grid. It's not part of any electrical or telephone or something like that. They were gone away from that Terminator, but because Sarah Connor is like so like her mission is to stop Judgment Day, to stop this nuclear holocaust that's going to happen because of Skynet. She veers back into the Terminator's crosshairs again when she goes back to Miles Dyson's place. So I kind of like the scene a little bit that they're in the desert because they have a chance to escape and possibly have John Connor become this leader. And I also just want to mention too that in the book, in the novel, there's no Terminator 3, there's no salvation, and there's no dark fate. Literally what happens is they blow up Cyberdyne, the Terminator goes into the lava thing, and they destroy every technology, and Judgment Day never happens. It's never inevitable. John Connor becomes a senator because obviously if he's a leader of the future army, I guess he's a leader in politics or whatever.
I don't know if I like that. I mean, I guess that's okay. It's just he's so outrageously anti-authority. For him to become a politician just seems...
Well, there's a deleted scene, by the way, because Sarah Connor is really old. She's sitting on the park bench, and John Connor and his daughter are like on the swing and stuff, and she like mentions he's a senator. But James Cameron took it out because they wanted to be ambiguous, and always it was during the time like literally after the Cold War and stuff with Russia, and they're like, if we keep on going down this path, we might have a nuclear holocaust. So let's just remind people that AIs are bad and nukes are bad.
I could fall it a little bit because the Terminator's telling them this day they launched the missiles at Russia, and John Connor goes, "Why? They're our friends now." And I was like, "No."
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, like I agree with you that part is kind of like your adrenaline's gone because you're all pumped up and shit. You just saw like John Connor run away from this liquid Terminator, the scene where the
can't
truck
be all action all the time. I understand that. I just, you know, if I'm looking for a least favorite part of the movie, it's that middle part.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they also wanted a reason to have that like epic shot with their current CGI of them just decimating Los Angeles. Right?
Yes. Where
like,
she's like,
she's like watching and she's having that dream and she just sees everything burn. Like, yeah, if it was just an excuse to do that, okay. If it had the plot and you could see that awesome graphic, which is crazy looking of people like being turned to ash and then just blown away.
The cool shot of the city being turned to pixels looks like trash, and then the practical shot of like the paper people getting blown away and then the skeleton on the chain link fence looks fantastic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's the funny part. Yeah, but I mean, for the time, like we were saying before, if you'd watched this like at that day and age, it probably looked really cool compared to what you see otherwise. You go home like, I'm gonna play Sonic the Hedgehog now. This is great. I love the '90s.
I'm gonna get Terminator on my Sega CD.
Then nothing could go
actually
wrong.
all right.
Okay, Sega CD, I guess. But
the Terminator arcade was cool.
Hell yeah, it was.
That's one thing I like. If I ever get my own place again, I want to get the Terminator arcade machine. Just put it in my room. But I want to hear like your guys, Chaz. Like, what's your favorite scene, or what was something that you want to talk about in this movie that you just felt was great?
Oh, I'm glad you asked me. I was about to ask you why you chose this film. No. You have talked nonstop. It's actually a good thing. It's endearing. It shows that you truly do love this movie. I actually really like it. I mean, I love this movie. As a kid, I remember watching it. Now, of course, I didn't watch it till I was like a little older, but like, I guess it was like first time on TV or something. But I just watched it over and over and over. It's like, man, this movie's awesome. There's like a lot of different great scenes. I mean, of course, we already talked about the beginning. Something that is important to you mentioned about the whole tonal thing. Yes, it's one of those things at first you wouldn't catch it. So it's great to not think, oh no, he's back. Okay, what's happening this time? And until you have the moment where he unveils the shotgun from the box of flowers that he's actually there to protect him. The important thing is he acts very differently in terms of how he interacts with people in this movie compared to the first. Specifically, he doesn't kill people like right away. He unless he has to be lethal, even unless he's directly told, he actually still doesn't go out of his way to actively kill anyone. He'll do something to stop them so he can get what he wants, but he doesn't kill anybody in that bar. I mean,
No.
he maims a bunch of people, but like that's different versus the other person just immediately kills him. So if it's a subtle thing, you may not pay attention or notice right off because you're still seeing him and just getting caught up in the action. But it's a good thing at like on repeat watches you realize, oh, okay, there actually are pretty obvious signs that he's different than he was the first time around. In the first movie, he didn't fuck around. He just naked and just fucking killing people.
Sort of. The T-1000, when the cop finds him, he like punches him in the gut real hard, and you could argue he doesn't kill him. You could make that argument. And then the T-1000 takes his uniform and is in the police car, and then you don't know that he has killed anyone until after the confrontation at the mall. And you also don't see his stupid silver bullshit until after the confrontation at the mall. That's why it's so cool, because the viewer has no idea. Neither Terminator has really killed anyone. And honestly, Arnold has inflicted more violence than Robert Patrick has at that point. So you're like, so you don't really know what's going on. And plus, one of them is a scary biker guy with a shotgun, and the other one's a cop.
He's a narc.
So that's another, like, it's the movie's the movie's trying to be, oh look, he's a cop, he's a good guy, right? And then the movie's like, psych, this is an anti-authority movie. Fuck the cops, fuck the police. And then it goes from there.
Zach, you're able to help me because I actually wanted a different quote today. It's from the video I'll talk about later in our final word or last word stuff. But I wanted to use it because of this movie because it was thematically on point. Do you remember the quote from Mayor Hagar in Final Fight? He's like, always deliver the fists of justice, never trust the police.
No, I forgot that quote.
It's relevant. I watched it tonight and he quoted it. I laughed so hard. I was like, I want to use that, but then I forgot to put it on. So until you brought up the cop thing, but yeah, no, you are right. It is, and again, especially if you have none of this spoiled, you've never seen the movie, nothing like. It's still great suspense because you're like, wait, there's two. I don't know who's who. You don't know who's going to save. And again, like you said, he very well could be a man from the future. Instead, it was just like in the first movie, he may just be someone from the future come back to save him. So they do kind of turn it on you, but it's after the fact that you know what's going to happen. You can look for those subtle things. Oh well, he's actually he's violent, but he's not lethal. So, but like you said, Robert Patrick's not that way. Like until after the fact, and then he just like, nope, I'm gonna fucking put weird sword needle liquid shits through people's head because it's fun.
The first person he kills is in the hallway at the mall. It's that janitor. That's to drive the point home in case there's any ambiguity left. It's like, wait a minute, I don't think this guy's a good guy.
I still like the part where he's like going through the clothing store and he looks at the mannequin that's like silver and he's like,
silver,
yeah.
That's funny.
He's like, yeah, I'd do it. I'd do that guy.
Also, he shoves kids in the arcade.
Also, speaking of the arcade, this is apropos of very little, but later in the movie, when they're at the desert hideout and they're looking at all the guns, John Connor's like, yeah, my mom taught me how to do all this stuff, and I didn't know there was a difference, and then I got put in the system, and all the other kids were into Nintendo. It's like, motherfucker, you were at an arcade at the beginning of the movie. Why are you calling the kettle black, dude? What are you doing?
Yeah, he was there playing Afterburner shit. It's because he hates Nintendo.
Afterburner and Missile Command.
He hates Nintendo. That's what it is.
I guess
kid gets it.
He's
that's
a
why
Sega guy. I get it.
Sega,
yeah, that's why I said you went home and played Sonic. You didn't go home and play Super Mario World after you, or Super Mario 3. You were going home.
Play gay shit. Super Mario Brothers.
Speaking of like arcade, Zach and Andy's favorite movie, Suburban Commando. What was Hulk Hogan playing? Was that Afterburner?
I'm pretty sure it was Afterburner. Yeah,
I do not recall.
Yeah, when he goes into the arcade and he's like, he breaks the fucking arcade machine. He's like, you got the highest score. Anyway.
Also, Bobby Budnick was in this movie. This is a crossover from Salute Your Shorts. This is how he got in trouble with the police. That's how he ended up at Camp Anawana. That's what happened.
I mean, he's already a delinquent. He just continued down that road.
Oh yeah, that's the little shithead with the orange mullet, right, or whatever.
Yeah, Bobby Budnick.
Yeah, what's his name?
Have you guys seen that meme that goes around?
Actor. Danny Cooksey.
Yeah.
The meme that goes around about how he saved everyone because he knew to instinctively lie to the police. Have you seen that?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's really funny, but like he's doing it to protect his friend. It's not necessarily always lie to the police, which you should do anyway. But it's like this cop is looking for his friend. He does it to watch his back. I don't know. I just it always struck me the wrong way.
Never narc on your friends.
Never narc.
Yeah. Now you can narc on other motherfuckers if you're not affiliated with them. Just don't narc on your friends.
Yes, true. Fuck the police. Anyway, I'm not a truck expert, but
I am.
A dirt
could
bike.
Not make that jump. No, is that what you're going to say?
I was going to say, I was going to explode.
We did the math.
That's my second question. My first question: would it be able to keep up with a dirt bike?
Maybe.
Probably, because dirt bikes don't have that fast of a top speed.
Yeah, it's probably like a little 2-piston bullshit engine, and the truck's probably got like a big ass V8 in it or something.
I'd say top speed of an average dirt bike is probably 40, 45 miles per hour.
Okay,
yeah. So
that's why the Harley comes in. Fucking Arnold saves him.
Harley's got a real engine, yeah.
It's got real with a man on it, a machine man.
A machine.
Yeah, how much does he weigh? Like he's a big giant metal robot, and that motorcycle's carrying him just fine. I don't know.
It's made out of future metal bullshit. You know, it's like lighter.
It's like astro metals.
He's probably made out of
aircraft.
Uranium lined titanium fucking alloy bullshit.
Uranium titanium
made by human slaves.
You guys ready? We're just gonna retcon the whole thing. Disney's gonna buy the rest of James Cameron's library.
No, please, God.
And then they're gonna tie it to the Marvel universe, and he's made of vibranium.
There you go.
Yeah, I actually don't care because all James Cameron wants to do now is make stupid fucking Avatar movies. I wish he'd do something else.
He's gonna make 7 of them. Yeah.
Listen, that man
he's going into the sunset with Avatar.
He doesn't even give a shit anymore. He's like, I'll just do the fuck I want. I made them so much money, I can do whatever I goddamn please. I got to go fucking see the Titanic, and other people tried that shit, and you saw what happened to them. So he's like, I'll go back down there again if I want to, and I'll do it right.
Controller.
I mean, plenty of other people tried it before. The difference there is just some dumbass wanted to make something out of what was it, carbon fiber?
Oh yeah, guy goes down there in a fucking Fisher-Price submarine. It's basically what happened.
Pretty much.
Mattel.
Yeah.
I want Titanic 2 Judgment Day. God damn it, James Cameron.
There is a Titanic 2.
I saw a joke about someone said something. It was like when that submarine stuff happened, and it was some joke about what their sonar or something looked like, and it was that picture from Spaceballs, and they had the Etch-a-Sketch.
Oh god.
I mean, they had the Logitech controller for the fucking things.
The PS2, yeah.
Oh god.
But funny you bring up James Cameron and Avatar. He did bring up that they want to do, you know how they did Halloween 2 and then they're just like, oh, we're gonna do a reboot sequel kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're thinking about doing that with Terminator, where Terminator 3 doesn't count anymore. Dark Fate doesn't count anymore because apparently James Cameron was a producer on Dark Fate with Matt Reeves, because I think Matt Reeves did Dark Fate, and they had a fallout because James Cameron's like, nah, bitch, you got to do it this way, and Matt Reeves like, nah, bitch, I'm doing it my way. I got the movie and the fucking production company.
Why does James Cameron care?
I don't know, but I do want a James Cameron Terminator sequel. Because I feel like he'll do it justice.
Because it's his series. It's never been anywhere near as good ever since he stopped fucking making them.
Yeah, because he's a better filmmaker than these clowns.
Yeah,
he's a better filmmaker than 95% of people in Hollywood.
Do you just make something and not care about it ever again?
No, I just... he's moved on. He's doing other things. He made really good Terminator movies, and they had a pretty good conclusion. And they're like, we're going to make more. You can either get on board and make money or not. He's like, I guess I'll fucking cash a check.
He wanted to go hang out with Echo the dolphin and shit. He was more fucking invested in that.
Wanted to go to the sea.
Go
into the water.
I didn't even realize there are multiple new trailers out for the next Terminator movie. Although I'm not clicking on any of these, so I don't even know if they're real or there's fan-made bullshit.
No, they're probably fan-made. I didn't see it.
Terminator 7 End of War teaser trailer came out 3 weeks ago.
I don't know.
End of War.
It would have got trending. I didn't see it trending on social media, so it's probably a fan-made.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Zach, what about you? Is there any scenes that you want to talk about as far as what was good, or maybe what you found kind of down? Maybe.
No, there's not really much about this movie I don't like. So, Like, yeah, you could like talk about how it's kind of like slow and they're in the desert, but that's where all the fucking character development shit happens, and that's where all the you calm down and you learn some things. It has to be there.
That is actually something. It's a strength, and so it's slightly not to disagree with Andy, because I could get how somebody could find something like to nitpick about it being slower, but I feel like this movie has nearly the perfect blend for like what it is as an action movie and whatnot. It has a perfect blend of how it culminates its action as well as having the time for the plot development, because you're not just going mindless action nonstop. Like, it takes the time to have the character arc. And again, it is a sequel, so it's feeding onto that, but it still does a good job. You can watch this movie without necessarily watching the other one. I mean, it's so much better if you've watched Terminator 1 first, but this is also a movie that you can watch on its own, and it still sticks all the same because of how it builds up. It explains things really well without giving you too much and just making you feel stupid. There's still a lot of thought-provoking elements to the film in terms of its messages and building the characters and what their motivations are, but then you just have all the action that's there, and they don't hold back. I mean, like, how ridiculous and over the top is it? He has the minigun, the grenade launcher.
Fuck
like,
yes.
It's absolutely absurd.
He didn't have it when they went in. It bothers me so much.
I mean,
he spawns it. He like opens up his weapon wheel, and he's like,
Well, listen,
it was from the desert when he went.
Well, I know, but when they're at the front desk, he's not carrying anything big enough to be a minigun.
That's a deleted scene in the Renegade cut that he walked in there with it.
It's like Metal Gear. It's in his ass.
Yeah,
it's up his ass. That's probably my favorite scene, just because all the carnage and shit. I also really like the scene when like they're at the phone booth.
Oh,
they're calling his stepmom.
Your foster
and he talks to his
dead.
stepmom. It's like, your foster parents dead, and that spawned a whole meme template.
Oh
Several like my favorites, like, what's your favorite Resident Evil? Is like, I like Resident Evil 3 Remake. Your foster parents are dead.
That scene ends with my other problem with the movie, though, and that's that an innocent dog dies.
Yes.
Well, a machine killed the dog.
So. I know, and then he gets his. That son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Terminators hate dogs because dogs sense Terminators.
Right. That's
what I also like,
which is interesting because they don't really explain that. That's something you got to know from the first movie. I hadn't thought about that till just now.
That's true. Yeah.
Your dog is barking? Your dog's really barking? Because it's something like he's picked up on.
It's either a ghost or a Terminator if your dog's barking, or a man.
I'm pretty sure the dog out back behind my yard. I'm pretty sure the dog out back behind my house is just stupid. I don't think there's Terminators or ghosts.
It reminds me of that meme of the little girl hiding under the desk while Terminators are in the fucking
yeah. That's a great template.
Yeah. Or like the other one where it's like it shows a Terminator and it's like the IRS, it's like Buenos Dias, or whatever you earn, like $25 or some shit. But no, my other favorite scene actually is the one where Sarah Connor breaks out of the mental institution.
Mm-hmm.
That fucking shit was great, especially when like the creepy ass fucking like guy like licks her and everything.
Oh yeah, the orderly. Yeah,
she just like no sells it perfectly, and then you know what happens? She busts his fucking face in. It was great.
James Cameron does an amazing job at making you hate people and then setting it up so that they get what's coming to them, and it's so satisfying every time. The writing is so brilliant that way, because everyone who gets their ass beat in this movie, you're like, yeah, fuck you, man.
The smarmy fucking psychologist or whatever.
That's right. Yeah, him too.
From the first movie, and he's back here. I forgot actually it was the same guy. I watched Terminator 1 the night before I watched this movie, just because it had been so long. I was like, I want to watch the first one again.
He's in
the third it's the same guy. I forgot.
Yeah,
what'd you say, Dubs?
He's in the third one too. There's it's like a comedy scene because he's like all freaked out because of the Terminator, because of what he saw in the psych ward.
Oh, I recall that actually. That does sound familiar.
Yeah, he goes to the cemetery because he's like following John Connor, and he's like, part of the Connor family as far as his case and stuff. And then he sees fucking Arnold, and he's like, I'm fucking out of here, and he runs out of the cemetery. That's funny.
Great.
Yeah, and that's another scene too. Doesn't she use like either? I always thought it was like windshield wiper fluid.
No, it's like
Drano.
Yeah. And
She's
she
like,
like,
you're not going to use that on me. He's like, you don't know that on me. It's like fucking crazy.
I always like the scene too where they're running away from the liquid Terminator and like there's bars there and he like goes through the bars and his gun gets stuck. I was like, that's funny. And
That's
then
really cool.
and then he goes to the elevator. And I just love the part where that also reminds me of like Resident Evil, you know, the part where not Mr. X, William Birkin is like fucking going through the ceiling and trying to get you in the train car. It reminds me of that in the elevator because they're just like sitting there and you know his sharp hand is going through the top of the elevator.
Well, you also drop Mr. X in a vat of lava, just like in how he goes in the lava. It's like Resident Evil 2 is the Terminator 2 of Resident Evil.
Yes.
So,
and it's the greatest sequel.
It really is, though. In fact, there's lots of story beats and shit. We'll remind you of that.
Mm-hmm.
But, no, besides moments and stuff.
So, I also wanted to bring a surprise cameo. Is Chaz, do you watch Breaking Bad?
No, I mean I'm familiar enough with it, but like outside of like the main two characters, if it's someone else out of that, I'm not gonna know them.
Do you know Hank, like the ATF brother-in-law?
Mm-mm.
Well, anyway,
I've never seen it.
When Miles Dyson is like holding whatever thing that he's holding before he like hits the detonator and shit, he's
I don't
like,
know how long I can hold this.
Yeah, the guy that's the policeman is Hank from Breaking Bad. He's the ATF brother-in-law for Mr. White, and that's a little tidbit for you Breaking Bad people. Because I was like, who is that? And then I actually looked it up, and I'm like, holy shit, it's Hank from Breaking Bad. So that's a surprise to people who watch Breaking Bad.
That's something for you bad breakers.
Yeah, and if you ever watched the Sci-Fi Channel TV show Eureka, the black guy, I forgot the character's name, but he's
Miles
one of
Dyson,
the
played by Joe Morton. I have the IMDb up.
Yeah, he's on Eureka. That's a good show, by the way, too, for Sci-Fi Channel.
I'm glad someone did something after this movie. Like I hate to be like that, but Arnold went on to be in tons of great stuff, and everyone else went in to be in some stuff sometimes.
Robert Patrick was X-Files. He didn't.
Yeah, he went on to have like a solid career through like television series, X-Files, and then just like random shows he's been in and stuff. I always like see him in something random, and I'm like, that's T-1000.
That's him 100%. He's 100% like, oh yeah, that's that guy. He was in that Terminator movie. Like, but it's not. He doesn't go on to have an Arnold style movie career. Is what I mean. And Linda Hamilton came close, but even she was in like Dante's Peak, and I can't think of anything else.
She kind of fizzled out after this movie. Like she wasn't in as many big movies. It's like I remember when she was first in Terminator. It's like in the 80s, she kind of got to be in a lot of movies. Right. She was in Children of the Corn, etc.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then like after Terminator 2, like you said Dante's Peak. I don't remember her being in anything else.
IMDb told me.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just like,
for all I know, she's a bit part. I don't know. I saw that. I was like, oh, she must be someone of import.
Let's talk about
Edward Furlong. Who cares? Yeah. And then everyone else, it's like these people didn't do anything after this.
We talk about Edward Furlong was in The Crow, City of Angels.
So.
he was also in American History X. I mean, he's actually the common.
That's true. That's true.
Theme of the
shit!
It's Edward Furlong and why he's the greatest actor of all time.
This was a TED Talk about how Edward Furlong is like one of the most underrated actors ever. That's what this theme is.
Edward Furlong is the greatest actor of all time, and it's not even close.
I'd be impressed if like you picked out 6 movies with like Edward Furlong in it, and like it's just like scenes that he's just passing by and stuff.
He's just like on the phone in the Barbarian or something, like some bullshit like that.
I'm glad you had more to say, because I was about to say, Dubs, that's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I can just use the internet to find out 6 movies he's been in, but then you elaborated more, so it's actually funnier if I would have just picked what are like 2 movies he's been in that everyone wants to watch, and then 4 movies he just cameoed in. And it's like, what do these movies have anything to do with? It's like,
he was in Detroit Rock City. I like that movie.
Yeah, he was in Barbarian. He was down there sucking teeth.
It's dark. You couldn't tell.
That was his foreshadowing before he did meth and shit. But
damn, drugs. Not even once.
I don't know any of these fucking movies. Even.
I mean, maybe a couple times, but not more than that.
Linda Hamilton. I just want to they brought her back for Dark Fate. And it's so stupid, like what they did with her character. And it's not like a woke agenda bullshit. Like, I'm just gonna spoil it because I don't fucking care. I don't even count Dark Fate as part of the thing. Apparently, Skynet sends another fucking Terminator, another Arnold, and shoots fucking John Connor after Terminator 2. And that's why it gets like a side fucking plot.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
That's not how it works.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched both Rick and Morty and Community, so I know that there are very large plot holes in how time travel works because I'm smart.
Timeline.
Yeah, that's always what I think of.
Go back, it creates a new branch.
Yeah.
So there's branches. So that's the branch where he got fucking shot, I guess. There should be a branch where they send a Terminator back to kill the Terminator that was going to terminate him originally.
That's the episode of Rick and Morty where the snakes just keep coming back, and they just all kill themselves until they eat themselves, and then they all just disappear. That's just what happens.
That's how you delete it.
But actually, like again, I'm gonna make jokes about that. That episode's low key fucking great. It's so funny. I don't know if you guys have watched it. They go back in time and teach themselves, and they like have the snakes doing their own weird language. But of course, they have them all doing like caricatures of different generations. So the one time they're like in the 80s, and they're 80s snakes, and they're cool.
That was the last truly great season of that show, and after that, it was yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I haven't watched much after that, but yeah, that episode's funny, but yeah, and yeah, you have to. That's the thing too. Is you have to ignore that the whole thing with time travel was like, well, guess what? These movies like this and Back to the Future are what set the precedent for what otherwise doesn't exist until we have proven something otherwise is not there. The only thing that has been proven is the theory from Interstellar, which is true. Like you use again the theory of weight and mass. If you were to move around something much longer, yeah, you technically can travel in the future in the sense that you would just age in the same time that you would move.
I'm not a science man, but the stuff in Interstellar isn't technically proven. I think it's just the current.
It's the theorems. Yeah, the theorems that exist that otherwise we apply.
It's not like Back to the Future goofy bullshit. Is what he's trying to say. It's
what Chaz was trying to say.
It can't go backwards unless it's a wormhole and then Hawking hole. I think that's what it's called.
Well, what Chaz was trying to say is like there. Einstein brings it up like time of relativity and all that stuff. Like someone going at this the speed of light and stuff is going to age different than what someone's on Earth. So like that brings up the point of that type of time travel. But then there's like bootstrap fucking time travel paradox bullshit that happens with the Kyle Reese. Like you got to think about it this way: John Connor, the son of Kyle Reese, in the future sends Kyle Reese back to the past to bang his mom.
Don't think about it too hard.
Yeah.
I liked the idea that the first and second movie kind of started to present in that they weren't changing shit, is that it was always supposed to happen because the pieces of the Terminator get left behind and then Cyberdyne uses them to make Skynet. Like, how did they make Skynet if not for those pieces? How was John Connor born if not for Kyle Reese? Like, it kind of starts making you think, wait a minute, are they doing anything at all? Or is this always the way it was? But then they throw that shit right out the window.
Yeah.
Well, I always thought about it this way because like after Terminator 2, like they make it ambiguous, and then we obviously get Judgment Day is inevitable, and then Terminator 3 happens.
Rise of the Machines.
Rise of the Machines. Like Terminator 3, I'm like, Well, they just destroyed all the technology. Are they saying like they forgot to like destroy Miles Dyson's like computer hard drive or something because like some of the stuff is on his hard drive at home, or I don't know.
I mean, I will remember his computer gets shot up when she tries to kill him.
Yeah, but I mean that's a chance right there that the hard drive could survive.
I always just assumed it's all backed up remotely somewhere. Like,
Yeah.
he's a genius engineering guy, but he doesn't understand computer networking, and it's just like all on a server, like down the street or something.
Maybe.
The character development, by the way, where like John Connor is like making him more the Terminator human, where he's like teaching him like slang, like hasta la vista, baby, and all that
Chill out,
stuff.
Dick.
Mix and match too, yeah.
Yeah. And then the part where they take Sarah Connor out of the psych ward, and instead of like a mother like hugging the child, because it looks like she's hugging, but she's like checking for bullet holes, and then like scolds him, be like, "You're an idiot for saving me" and stuff. Because you're the leader of the fucking human race, and he like starts to cry, and then like Arnold's like questioning, he's like, "What does that end on your face?" And he's like,
he has complicated files on human anatomy, but he doesn't know what crying is.
Yeah.
Why are you eating other kids' lunches? Stop it! He starts taking them and shit.
That's the other timeline.
Yes.
The kindergarten Terminator.
I see what they were trying to do, because like it pays off later on where he's like, "I know what crying is." Like, I can never
but
do
I
that.
can't do it.
Yeah. And then he
Honestly, that deleted scene seems like it's very pivotal, because it actually is a very important thing that in the first part of the movie he isn't allowed to learn and engage and become more aware. Rather, he just has to follow what instructions are there.
Yeah.
So changing that's when everything changes, when they're like, "Oh, we're going to teach you and do all these." That's when he's learning, and he's actually learning. So, but again, you don't know that it just happens. But the movie still works. You don't need it, but it is like all the more satisfying to have that piece in there, I think. But.
Well, without that scene, it's just he becomes more friendly through the power of friendship.
Yeah, that's kind of like what it was.
That's what it is. Yeah, basically. Yeah,
the true friends were the robots we made along the way.
and again, like you have to turn off your brain when you think about time travel in this movie, because like I always thought about this, like if that scene was never deleted and they just never put it in there, like you said, the power of friendship, but like then like with that deleted scene, did John Connor know in the future that eventually John Connor in the past will take out the chip for him to learn and stuff? You would think like he would pre-do that.
Did you guys smell copper?
I smell eggs.
Yeah, and I also love the part where like he swears like not to kill anyone. He goes to the psych ward, shoots the poor security guard that's probably making minimum wage working in the booth and stuff. Now has to go to the hospital.
Right. Both kneecaps, apparently. A very painful place to get shot, I'm told.
He'll live.
What kind of living is it going to be?
I don't know. He shot him with 45, God's fucking caliber, so he probably isn't going to have knees after that. He's going to be like Cotton Hill.
That man is crippled.
Yeah.
And I always mark out when he takes like the tear gas gun and like pounds the fucking cop in the chest with the.
I love that. That's one of my favorite parts of the whole fucking movie. It's where he like shoots everyone in the leg, and there's just the two guys, and he's just blam like full on and then he goes outside and goes, "Hold this," and takes the two guys' gas. It's the fucking best part of the movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we're getting over to the parts where we talk about what we love, I love the whole ending part where he just neutralizes all these cops, takes their gas masks. It's so funny. And of course, the chase in the river is like one of the most iconic chase scenes in all of film, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I also love the part where Robert Patrick's when he goes to Cyberdyne and as the cop on the motorcycle, and he's like going up the fucking stairs, and he goes up, and then he like goes into the helicopter and shit. And he's like,
awesome.
"Get out!"
Why is that the one guy he doesn't want to kill? He's like, "Get out! I won't kill you."
Because he doesn't have time to fucking kill him. He just wants to like kill them.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
then we
funnier
get that.
that he just let him kill himself.
Yeah, he just falls out and just probably dies on all the other cops and stuff. But
Now you look down, he'll live.
yeah.
Just like the kneecaps.
Well, what happens is the kneecap guy is like in a wheelchair, like going to the Cyberdyne, and then the fucking helicopter lands on him and kills him. And that's what happens.
Fatality.
My leg.
Like it's SpongeBob.
The ending, like when they're into what is that place, by the way? The mill, I guess.
It's
Whatever.
like a steel mill.
Steel mill. You know.
Yeah. The part where like he mimics Sarah Connor, where I was like, oh shit, what the fuck? Who is it?
I always wondered why he's like call out to John when he could have just done it.
Yeah.
Well, there's many. Again, that's time travel fuckery. Like, Skynet's so stupid. Just kill Kyle Reese in the future, and you never get to send him back to bang his mom.
Whoa.
Yeah, which they try to do.
I mean, that's what they should do. They should send. I mean, if they have access to a time machine, send a Terminator to like July of '84, August of '84, September of '84.
Yep.
Send them nonstop. Send one. John Connor's 1 year old. Send Terminator. 3 years. Send Terminator. You know, send two just in case. Send them. Keep sending those Terminators.
I just imagine Skynet probably did do that. Just send like a bunch of fucking Arnolds, and he's like working in like, I don't know, Apple and shit when just Steve Jobs and like fucking, I don't know, CompUSA when it finally opens.
Yeah, it actually did that. Like 1 out of 100 actually make it. The other ones come through and they're just like a freaking mangled The Fly style block of aluminum.
Like they do a storyline of Y2J, Jesus, Y2K, Y2K.
Jericho turns up. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. you got one.
I know wrestle sometime.
Yeah, but yeah, that the scene where the hydrogen truck was cool because that's a part where
liquid nitrogen.
Where you're just like, yeah, we beat him, and then like they're in a steel mill, and he like melts down and goes back together, and you're like, oh fuck.
You mean like one of the coolest parts of the movie?
Oh yeah.
Like when you're a kid and they blow him away, and then they do the Mercury thing where he all merges together. That's just so outrageously cool. It's still cool, but like in 1992, it was like mind blowing.
Yeah. So with that, since it's brought up, I mean, I use liquid nitrogen all the time at work in an office setting for burning things. So today, because I watched this yesterday, today I had someone kid and he's asking all these questions. He's nervous about it. I'm like, no, this stuff is really cool. Watch this. You know, I show him what it is, and he's like, yeah, this is how they took down the T-1000 temporarily. And he's like, what?
Yeah.
He looked at me all weird. He's like, you never watched Terminator? And then I looked at the dad and I was like, what's wrong with you? Teach this kid. And I was like, I'm going to burn your warts off, okay? This kills robots. It'll work on you. And he was like, okay.
Should have brought up like a Fortnite reference or something to him. Bet you would have known.
You ever see the Terminator from Fortnite? He fights a guy. That's what you're supposed to say.
You haven't shown your kid this rated R movie from 20 years from before he was born? What's wrong with you?
That shit really happens though. Like people have said like Spider-Man from Fortnite and shit. And I'm like, oh my god.
Goku from Fortnite. That's right.
Yeah, Master Chief from Fortnite. Fucking.
Oh man, that hurts.
Oh,
it's kind of painful.
I know that guy.
Oh. So like we bring up the part where like, oh, you have to like throw all the technology into the lava and stuff.
Yeah.
You never see. Remember the arm gets caught in the gear and shit. By the way.
Yeah.
That's true.
Destroy it. That's right.
They never showed it. But in the novel, they explain that John Connor goes back to the gear and takes out the arm and throws it into the lava.
High fives it one last time and then throws it in the lava.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hugs it, kisses
it.
It
also gives a thumbs up. It gives him the hang loose as it's going under.
There it is.
It's feeling a little oozy. But yeah, I mean, I'm running at like. There's never. I don't think there's something like the music's great. I always loved the Terminator theme song. Again, the ending was ambiguous on purpose because James Cameron wanted to do like it does that scene where it looks like a car is like driving all over the place. By the way, where it's like going in and out of lanes and shit. And then they have Sarah Connor like
The being
mention. Yeah, Sarah Connor mentions like about Judgment Day. He's like, it could still happen, but it's over for now. I'm paraphrasing pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's in the version I watched.
Well,
in the version I watched, they torch the Terminator and he gives a thumbs up, and then it's just kind of like, okay, good, we did it, and then there's just credits.
Oh,
really? There's a couple different versions of this movie that's come out that has different scenes and endings and shit in it.
I kind of like that better. I like when action movies just go to the credits after the action's done. I don't need to see a scene in the hospital. I don't need to see a scene where they reconcile or someone's getting married. Fuck that. The action's done. Roll credits.
I do. I want to see that shit.
I kind of like it, but I'm also a mark for like the Sarah Connor growing old watching Senator John Connor. That's my ending.
Alien only wants to see that shit if that's what the genre calls for.
Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's in place there, but I actually kind of like it in Terminator. I like that there's a big violent upheaval and then they're just there. Just
what about the Terminator 1?
What's the final scene in Terminator 1?
Well, they kill the Terminator and then
Oh no, she's in the Jeep, right? It's a storm. Okay, you got me. That's badass. I like
that's
that.
Fucking bad. I like
There's a storm
better.
coming. I know.
I like that.
That's really good. That's really good. You're right. So I guess not always, but in this case, I liked it.
And by the way, that when the kid takes the picture, that's the same picture that Kyle Reese had in the future, where like burns and shit. Like I like that flashback where he yells kind of weird because he's being burned, and so he's as the photo is like melting and shit.
He didn't want to let go of that picture.
Yeah. Fun fact, since you brought it up, this is like weird gaming tie-in, but I just thought it's a neat little thing that Corey Barlogs went on record to say later. So the God of War game, 2018, God of War. So spoil it because the sequel's already out and everything. But if you beat the game and then go back to like your home or house, there's an actual end credits scene to help kind of build like, oh, this is what they're going to next. And that exact set of lines from Terminator at the end about the storm coming. Yeah, and the storm happening is when Thor lands, and it's to reveal that Thor is coming to confront Kratos because he just killed.
His sweet baby boy.
No, what's the guy's name that starts Ragnarok?
Balder or something.
Balder, thank you, Balder. Yeah. I kept wanting to say Balder. Fucking Francis.
For Francis, it's like the francophone version of Balder. It's fine.
Oh, that was great. Balder. But anyway,
he's got a new game out, I believe. It's about a gate.
Yeah, he has a gate, and he also knows Francis and hell.
He also has a sword, a Balder sword.
That just got the reference. Holy fuck. And I bought the game. Jesus fucking Christ.
I've never even played any of those games, and I know that.
Well, yeah, but you're a D&D dork.
You're a nerd.
I don't know about that from D&D either. I just know it in passing.
Did you ever play Divinity, Sin?
Damn, those games are... Whew.
I don't play bullshit like that. I play Madden.
I only play FIFA.
I don't need the memory card. I beat today. Sorry, that's a GameStop reference from my GameStop when I worked.
Divinity's like basically like I don't have friends to play D&D, but I'd like to. Because honestly, like there's so much detail to that fucking game.
Baldur's Gate.
Like, oh yeah, but Baldur's Gate is like literally like within the licensing. Divinity's it's still its own thing, but it's like so in detail. It might as well just be. It's like Pathfinder basically, but in a game form. And you can play
it's D&D for Uber dorks.
Really, it is. Like, there's so much minutia with like the details of the stats. Yeah, no, it really is.
I've always really liked the idea that D&D is like you're dorks, and then someone's like, "You want to play Pathfinder?" It's like, no, I'm a dork, but I'm not a dork.
I'm not a nerd. Yeah.
I hold out hope to maybe get laid by accident one day.
Yeah, no, anytime I go into the store, I'll go to like do stuff. I'll go in and I'll be like, look at those fucking losers over there doing Warhammer. And then I'm like, yeah, I'd like to buy this box of Pokemon cards.
Yeah, I'd like some Pokemon cards, please.
I love it every time.
It's like one of my favorite memes is it's two anime characters approaching each other and it says weeb, and then one of them hits the other one and goes, you fucking weeb. It's like, yeah, right, that's what it's like.
So the part where Zach, where you talked about your foster parents are dead, before that, or maybe after, I think it's after, where the, John Connor, like the Terminator soul and John Connor screaming, and like two guys walk up, a black dude and a white guy and stuff, and he's like, is this dude bothering you? And he's like, John Connor like changes his tune, he's like get the fuck out of here, you like peace out or whatever. And then the black guy's like, see, I told you, just get the fuck out of here. And then like fucking Terminator pulls out a fucking gun and starts like shoot him, and then he's like, whoa
No.
I thought that was funny too.
That's a good scene too.
Yeah, I love that he grabbed this grab this bitch or something like that, and he like just picks up this huge jacked guy. He does like nothing. I'm so high. Or like the scene when they're in the desert and he picks up the baby. Like he's like, the fuck is this? And he picks up the child and he grabs it in his face like it's a fucking bag of groceries. And the child's like, what is happening?
That's normal. That's how all men pick up their children.
I mean, I guess. It's hilarious. So I just loved it. Like they never say anything, explain it. Nobody reacts to it. He just fucking picks the kid up. Like, the fuck is this thing? I just love it. It's wonderful.
The baby.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think it goes without saying we would all strongly recommend this movie. I mean, it's one of the best movies ever made. I mean, I will say it is, like, objectively, it is one of the best action movies ever made. It definitely on the Mount Rushmore of like best sequels ever made. Like,
yes.
It's not even a hill to die on. Like, it's probably right at the first one. It is so hard to argue in any other franchise how good this movie is compared to every other movie, and how well it plays on its original counterpart. But I wouldn't say it is in my absolute favorite movies. I mean, certainly in the genre of what it is. It absolutely is. It's fun. But again, it's just different tastes for what you want to watch or moods. But absolutely, anytime I can just turn this movie on and just watch it and enjoy myself. It's great.
Yeah, like I'm a big time travel. Did I fuck that up? I don't know. Time travel connoisseur. I like all type of movies and books and like even video games that like deal with time travel and stuff. Like I always like get interested about that stuff. Like the reason why I love the Terminator franchise is like they delve into the questions of like what happens when Judgment Day finally does happen, and that's what you get in Terminator 3, which everybody like fucking hates. There's one thing, like I'll defend that movie because I do like what happens as far as when Skynet gets self-aware. Because like, just a quick thing, like the way it turns on is like they think a virus is in the DOD's like computer system, and like our stupid government's like, let's turn on Skynet to fix the virus. And then John Connor comes in and says, Skynet is the virus. And then like it gets self-aware, and then it's when the missiles happen, and then you're like, how does John Connor live? Then he goes to the Cheyenne Mountains and fucking, goes into a bunker, and that's where like I dig it for like them answering it, but it's definitely a weak movie. But
it's 3, right?
It's 3.
3 is like, I don't know if it's his favorite, but my dad loves that movie. He has watched it a lot.
That's awesome. No, that's fun. That's fucking awesome. It's got one of my favorite scenes in it when Arnold gets his sunglasses, and that one makes me laugh every fucking time.
Yeah, it's great. It's really great. I think a lot of people don't like that because, there's burning how cool he is. No, it's fun. It's a good movie.
Just have fun with it. Yeah, settle down.
No, 3 is fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's not as good as 1 or 2, but it's still pretty good. It's fine.
Yeah. Goddamn, what can be?
Yeah.
And it's the first female Terminator, because that was the female Terminator in there.
Yeah, it was.
The chick who played in the movie
Gets a gun.
Blood Rain.
Christina Loken.
Yeah. One of the scenes where she's like in the car speeding and then gets pulled over by the cops, and then she looks at the billboard of like a girl with big boobs, and she like makes her boobs bigger. And the cop's like, "Oh, you're free to go."
She was gonna be a contender. She was gonna be somebody. It just never happened for her.
Yeah. But yeah, like Chaz said, we all recommend unless someone's like gonna pull a swerve, bro, and be like,
"No, I fucking hate this movie. This movie sucks." Time Cop is a superior time travel movie. Jean-Claude Van Damme is better than Arnold in every conceivable way.
Oh my goodness.
He can kill a man with his butt cheeks. Arnold can't do that.
I wish they had put him in Predator. I would have fixed that movie right up.
Oh my God, yes, it would have.
He was the Predator.
That's my joke. That is my
joke. No, this movie's great. My favorite is still the first movie, but this is the best one. Yes, I like the harder sci-fi of that one, and I like the techno slasher and the very 80s trappings of it.
If I was going to sit down and watch one, I would choose the first one, but I think my favorite is still the second one. I've just seen it like 100 times. Like I think that's why in the middle of the movie I get bored. I've seen this movie so many times. In the middle of it, I was like, okay, I'm going to look at my.
There's nothing else to get. You've maximized what you can get out of it.
I know all these characters intimately now. I've seen this movie too many times. So.
Yeah, this is definitely a Home Alone situation for me. Like watching one versus the sequel. It's like both movies are great, and I usually don't watch one without the other, which we'll probably talk about. Did everyone watch the first one too?
Yeah,
I did.
Did you watch the first one, or did you?
Not recently. No.
Okay, yeah, I definitely watched them back to back. I just watched both together.
I thought about it, but I don't know. I've had a full plate media wise. So.
That's understandable, but yeah, I think like it's pretty easy to, if you have the time carved out to watch them both together. They are. I totally get Zach's point though of how there is a different atmosphere, a different tone to the movie, and
I like that.
Genre shifting, because they are trying to make it a little more, it's slightly more open to be perceived. I don't want to say a family movie. It's by far from that, but it isn't as dark and horror based and isolated like the first one is.
I wish that would happen more often, because you got Alien and Alien 2, you got Terminator and Terminator 2. Like, why couldn't there be Avatar, and like Avatar 2 is like a noir detective story or something?
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, jazz it up a bit. I'm sick of this shit.
That has a lot more to do with just like how movies are made now.
I understand. Like, believe me, I know all about. I could rant. Fucking comic book movies and fucking franchises and whatever. We're not going to get into it now.
Well, why couldn't they do it?
But that's what I would like, is what I'm saying.
Oh, right, yeah.
Why couldn't Terminator do like how Aliens does their sequels, where it's like Terminator, and then the second one is Terminators?
That's right.
Whoa.
You know, it's funny.
There's
though,
two
actually,
of them. There was. It's true.
T2.
So, it is T2, yeah. So, you know, it's funny that of the movies like that, because there were always like something to parallel it to. I think this is the one franchise that didn't get the verses, right? You get like Freddy v. Jason, you get Alien v. Predator.
Well, in video games it did.
No.
RoboCop versus Terminator.
Yeah, but we never got Terminator versus RoboCop. And listen, these movies are all together, so technically you're supposed to think this is Los Angeles, but actually this movie was in Detroit too.
Detroit.
Well, Alien versus Predator was video game form first several times.
That's true.
Oh, so, sure.
There's still hope.
There's still that what if.
I'm still holding out hope for RoboCop versus Freddy versus Alien.
Yes.
I mean, you keep hoping shit.
That's called Fortnite. That's Fortnite.
No, it's not even Fortnite. It's fucking
Goku.
Yeah. Okay. Now it's Fortnite. You guys see, you were on a thing. You had Mortal Kombat. You just took Mortal Kombat. So you just had to slap them together, and you were fine.
We got Rhea Ripley versus Optimus Prime.
And then you had to go fucking bullshit DLC microtransaction, llama fucking flossing and shit.
President Obama versus Alien
versus Spider-Man for Fortnite
versus Thanos.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Let's play Fortnite. Let's just fucking do it.
Let's just do it. I'm down. I'll fucking play Fortnite, man.
I got RoboCop on
I,
Fortnite.
I said that earlier in that chat the other day. I was like,
Fortnite. What you said?
I was
Yeah,
about
dude,
to give it.
I'm down. We're playing Fortnite. The four of us. We're doing it.
Yeah, no, I said that in that chat, like knowing, like, okay, I'm gonna make someone really upset when I said it, and it was Steve. It was
I'm
like,
up
no,
to it, man.
no, I'm not gonna do it. Like, I triggered someone. I was like, okay, that was what I meant to do. It was funny, but then it like the conversation
Look, at
kind
the
of
end of the
petered.
day, it's a shooting game. I like to
Yeah.
shoot, so you know, give it a shot.
Well, that's why I play like other stuff. I enjoy it.
scared.
It's fun to play. Yeah.
I'm scared.
They
So
just added Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair to Fortnite.
Yeah,
Did
just
it?
tell me.
Is that for real?
That's for real.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Jesus Christ.
I mean,
I gotta buy it.
yeah.
John Cena's already in there.
That's true. I did know that actually.
Here's my guilty pleasure with Fortnite, by the way. I don't play it often, but like when I see a character that I like, for example, Master Chief and RoboCop is in there.
John Cena.
And I didn't get John Cena. I should have got Optimus Prime, but they didn't fucking have oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. He's
Megatron.
Megatron, there we go.
Yeah.
Voltron.
Scream. But yeah, I should have got the Optimus Prime and Megatron.
Optimus Prime, not Megatron.
Like, it's not that I have anything against Fortnite, and I've never tried it, so I mean, I'd be fine to play it.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit of a sore spot for me, only because Paragon, which was a very hyped game that I like had like intel for, because a mutual friend that I had where I worked was high school buddies with one of the leading developers at Epic. With Paragon, like I had like early access to see stuff with it, and like I got to be part of the beta and do a lot of stuff, and I like it was going to be such a revolutionary game, and that game shit the bed because they gave up on it like 90% of the way through and said, nah, you guys move over here, we're gonna make this game Fortnite, we're taking a risk. And good for them. They have made so much freaking money.
I was gonna say it did work out.
But in a very selfish way, I'm a little bitter. It's like Paragon could have been it, but it's probably better for me anyway because MOBAs are just like cancer. Like, just like seriously, I had like
MOBA gives me the shits,
dude. I just get fucking like chest pain from that shit. So it was really best in the end.
Fuck League of Legends. Sorry, I had to bring
that's where I was stemming from. Yeah,
I don't like them games.
but yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, Paragon died for the success of Fortnite. It is what it is. That's okay.
No fate but what we make ourselves. So let's put a like end to this to this episode, not episode, but the movie.
Bye. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. So I'm gonna bring up the theme. Has anybody got their final guess, or are we waiting until the last movie gets announced and then
he's gonna announce the last movie right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you it's the last movie now. So
what's the last movie?
So I don't remember the name or the year it comes out. I think it was 2006. It could be a little later.
It's
not Time Cop.
Say Time Cop.
We are going to watch. This is actually the movie that inspired me to make this list because I just want to find a reason to watch this. It's not the best movie in the world, but I don't know. I really liked the premise of it when I had first watched it. It's not perfect, but it's a hill I'll die on. It's a good movie overall. But there are a couple flaws with it.
The Day After Tomorrow. I'm sorry.
No, the movie is called Death Sentence. You guys ever watched Death Sentence?
Never heard of that movie.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, not a high budget movie. It'll be movie. Stars a little guy named Kevin Bacon, and has John Goodman in it. John Goodman is a villain. Yeah, it's a good movie.
Neo Noir. Oh, I'm in, man.
Yeah, this movie is low key. Like I really like this movie. It's one of those like sleeper movies that I like tell people like if I know like we're like in the same spheres of movies to watch. I'm like, you should watch this movie. But again,
so when someone asks what Chaz's movies were, it's going to be Jurassic Park, Armored, or American History X, Barbarian, Requiem for a Dream, Terminator 2, and Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
Oh, Kelly.
So it's the theme isn't like this is my last guess. Fuck it. It's
fine. And I thought if you took your guess now and we didn't get there, who gives a shit? Let's do a third guess. It's fine. But
I'm making another guess now. It's
6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Suffering your choices in the past, suffering the past, something to do with like the past affecting your present or future.
Well, do you remember the clue I gave you guys? Right?
No.
Nope. Yeah, I didn't think so. So it's for others too. If you're listening and you want to try to take a guess. So last time we had a couple of guesses about.
I don't think you gave us a clue because you're just like, oh man, this is gonna give us away.
Oh no, I gave a clue. I 100% gave a clue.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, it's ironic because the guess that someone had before that I said was close was people were doomed to repeat themselves if they don't pay attention to
that was past. My guess.
Yeah. Well, you guys literally repeated because I gave you guys a really important clue and nobody fucking remembers it. So Andy just guessed the same goddamn thing you did last week.
That's all I'm getting out of this.
No, it's okay.
Like, the theme is so weak, we can't figure it out from 6 movies.
Oh damn! That's okay. That's
a shoot right there.
Yeah, that's
a shot on you.
So I'm trying
to get heat over here. Memorable.
Okay, you peg warmer. They'll know.
Oh!
Zach knows. Yeah.
What about figures?
Yeah. As a CM Punk, he's doing things. He's Hulk Hogan in this generation. But anyway, so the clue that I gave out was because there were some guesses last week, and the clues are in the ballpark, but it's again I think we're thinking too specific. So the clue that I gave was that this is the term that would, or a type of theme or literary term that you would use, or a term within either literature or within film that you would use to describe that type of situation.
The Greek tragedy.
So, I mean, that's the example, yeah. But like, that's what it is. But like, you guys you're in the ballpark, but it's not it. But it's like, and you hear the term, you're gonna be like, oh, really? That's it? But it's a very basic thing. But all of them, think about what these movies are. Like, just in the general sense of what they are. There's something to take away from every movie we've watched.
The hero's journey.
Other than if you like it or not, but that's where I'll leave it at. If you guys want to take a guess.
Zach, do you have a guess?
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna save mine for after that sentence and stuff.
I shot my wad. There's no more. You got what you got.
I took 2 shots. Double shot. Both barrels.
I understand. Okay. Well, yeah. Just get ready to watch Death Sentence next week. I'm interested to see what you guys think about it. I don't think it'll be the same commentary of, oh, I love this movie, and we're going to talk about everything in detail about the movie. And ironically, we talked about how, oh, we could just like say, this movie's great, let's move on. And we talked an hour about Terminator 2 because it's fucking amazing.
Dude, you're talking to me. I love Terminator. I could literally talk Terminator. I watched analysis movies. I read fucking essays, and I read the fucking novel.
So, he played a shitty fucking game to completion.
Just because it said Terminator on the box.
Like, Doug, you should go back and record it. You might have a record because I don't think you took a breath the first 13 minutes. You just kept talking. Dude, I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, I'm like shitting on it, but not in a bad way. Like, honestly, it's like so awesome to see a friend when they like something so much and they go on about it. I mean, we all do that shit, right? Like, I've done it before on the show where I pick something and you guys are like, he will not shut the fuck up about whatever he's on. Who gives a goddamn shit about that fucking Pikachu? You know, or whatever anime I'm watching that you guys are like, well, I wish he'd stop watching those and just get to One Piece.
No.
My 4 horsemen of action movies is fucking Terminator, Aliens, Predator, and RoboCop. Like,
wow. Okay.
We already did RoboCop, and I fucking love those movies. Soon we got to do Aliens. We could shave some Aliens off because it gets ridiculous when it gets
Alien. That should be our last horror movie in October.
Yeah, I'm game.
I hadn't really thrown my hat in the ring there yet, but
yeah.
I mean, if you guys want to veto it, go for it. But we were discussing it, and I feel like that's a pretty goddamn good movie.
We shouldn't watch Alien. That movie sucks. Nobody likes it.
You can just say no. I don't feel like watching Alien, or no, I'd rather save it for an Alien month. That's all.
No, I'm gonna make sure. That's family movie night right there. Evie needs to grow up.
Alien Resurrection. That was a good one.
Watch Alien Covenant.
Oh, what's that movie where Magneto's a robot and he gets hurt and everybody's there doing Christmas and it's not a Christmas movie? I memed about that. What was it?
That's X-Men.
Talking about
Days of
Future
Future
Magneto.
Past. That's
No, it's Prometheus. Prometheus is what I was talking
Yeah,
about.
I know. I was thinking of like
What's
old
that one
school
where the
X-Men.
albino creates an alien dog? I've been drinking tonight. I'm sorry. It's like,
It's entertaining. Oh man.
You know what? I think we need to hear from our bro. Hello, you podcast freaks. It is your boy, Vince Russo, and I just wanted to tell you about this podcast called Getting Some Color with Joe Dubs, Zach, and Chaz. They every bi-weekly on Thursdays, bro. They review old school, and hopefully they get up to the golden era where I was the one who created the Attitude Era. And then also when I did great things in WCW by putting the world title on David motherfucking Arquette. Let me tell you, bro, I am the best booker in the world, better than Jim fucking Cornette, bro. He has nothing on me. He doesn't know about entertainment. He's telling me about faces and heels. He don't know nothing. I create great matches like bro on a pole match. Anyways, like I said, every Thursday, bi-weekly at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, catch Getting Some Color, bro. You won't be disappointed, bro. Catching some color, bro. You won't be disappointed, bro.
He's even renaming it for you. Man, he's a master booker.
Yeah. Best booker ever.
I respect you, Booker Man.
So, last word is where we talk about what the hell we've been watching, playing, or doing. And then also, if any news, which I think we don't have any news to talk about because Evo happened the last week and we talked about all the stuff that happened. I guess we could, we could get to Chaz about his Mortal Kombat stuff that he talked about in Messenger later. But with me, I'm gonna get this out of the way. I beat Terminator 2 on fucking Sega Genesis because
kudos.
Boo!
Yeah, that game sucks, bro.
Boo!
No, I said boo because he played a bad game. He should have played a good one.
You never played a bad game?
Yeah, but fuck. It's demoralizing, especially the way he talks about playing video games lately.
You guys you guys have an entire podcast on series of shitty games.
Talk about Resident Evil
or
Lost in Nightmare.
Oh shit! I was like, which inflammatory response should I go with? No, I'm just kidding. I was joking. I love all those.
I was just gonna say there's gonna be a news story about somebody being found out by railroad tracks later. You better fucking stop.
I was like, I hit a nerve.
Hello, you podcast freaks. It is your boy. God
What?
damn it!
What the hell?
What the fuck happened?
He had to cut the feed because I threatened his life.
In Minecraft, he mentioned Minecraft. We're going to commercial.
Oh shit!
But
yeah, you need one of those. You need to get that like one of the buttons where it's like we'll be right back. Here's a word from our sponsors. You're like, oh, that was good.
Yeah, Terminator 2 sucks on fucking Sega Genesis. I like the arcade game better, and I also like Nintendo.
I like the arcade game better than the Genesis game. Said everyone ever.
Play the Sega CD one, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it was not bad.
Yeah, I never played that one. There's also like a Xbox game Terminator game that I always wanted to play, like original Xbox.
I actually heard that one was
Salvation, right?
No, it's before that.
Yeah, it's something different.
It's like an original game.
Yeah, Salvation.
Resistance? Is that
I think.
Yeah, Resistance. I think it's called. I heard it's actually pretty decent. I just need to play it.
I've heard that too.
Is it for OG Xbox? Is that like
OG?
Yeah.
OG. Terminator 3 Redemption.
Yeah, there you go, Redemption.
It's based off Terminator 3. So.
Yeah, well, it's called that, but the game, it's like not the same game. Like it's a separate thing.
It's in the future.
It's one of those like games that's like for shooters. It's like highly like revered. It's like I think someone had said at one point it's like the Jade Empire of shooting games. If I remember reading that correctly.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know how to take that.
Yeah.
Well, Jade. I mean, Well, yeah, but Jade Empire's I mean, depending on what your flavor is, Jade Empire's a highly like loved game by certain crowds, and it just didn't get a lot of love. And
It's true.
that game is kind of in the same vein. I mean, it's had time splitters, but that's a whole different thing. We won't get into that. That's your time travel right there. I want monkeys from hell to come in and start putting lasers in someone's ass. That's what I want.
Yeah,
That's
real
real
what I
life.
want to see in my fucking life one day.
Ass
I'm a video
lasers.
games.
Ass lasers. I've also played Xenoblade Chronicles: The Beginning. There's a you're a bitch mode where like it's called casual mode, by the way, if you just want to like kill stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, bitch, I want to fucking like get some hardness.
Hardness.
Yes.
Fucking casual ass, soft ass
That's
bitches.
what she said.
I want some hardness.
Yeah. So I did a side quest where you have to like beat this fucking slug thing that was like a boss that was like has like electricity and shit, and I couldn't beat the fucker. And I was like, why can't I beat this? Like I got up to like level 7 and it was like a level 4 and I still couldn't beat the fucking thing. So I had to like grind all the way to level 11. I like killed a bunch of birds, fucking insects, and fucking weird ass frogs at night.
You killed 100,000 pigs.
Yeah.
Fucking wild boars. Fucking war.
I need to kill 200 boars to get like 4 pig balls. Stupid shit like that.
Yeah, so I did like the MMO way of just grinding until I got to a high level, and I beat the thing, and it took me 2 hours. So JRPGs, I kind of love it. I don't know why the grind of JRPGs.
So are you saying you didn't like find anything later that like revealed like an obvious weakness or something? Like you didn't have like some weird like elemental resistance or something?
I
you had
found
to
out
use
that I
instead?
was, doing smooth brain fucking combat where I would just stand there to let the thing fucking hit me, and I didn't know like if you moved around in like circle and like kept on hitting all the combat and like health. Like obviously I healed myself, but like I did other things to like slow it down and to like kill it, but as I'm moving around, it like missed me, and I didn't know that. So
You didn't think it was going to be that kind of game.
yeah, I thought I was just like gonna stand there and hit like fucking attack or
like
heal.
yeah, like full on turn based. Like you just
Yeah.
single. Yeah, and I get you. It makes more sense.
And you gotta remember, I played this game on the 3DS when it first came out on the 3DS. So like, I totally forgot how to play. What?
No, it came out on the Wii first.
Well, I played it on the 3DS.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's
That
when
was
I
the
first played it.
That was later. It came out later for the
Yeah.
new Nintendo 3DS.
Yes. That's the year when I went to London and shit. That's how I know.
Always Tuesday.
RPGs like that do that. It's like I've talked about it before, and it's anytime I have a chance to bring it up. Lost Odyssey, it's on 360. One of the first bosses you fight in that game is like they intentionally made it hard as fuck to beat because they like wanted to give people that experience and have them like realize, okay, you have to have strategy and like know the elements of how to use. There's like it's not a parry, but a I don't know what to call it. It's like one of the combat systems where you hit like a button, like an action right as it happens, and you can get like a perfect, and they can affect the damage you do.
Title
And
wheel.
do that when you like guard or block, but it's still turn based. It's just those little button sequences. But like there's like things to know, like where it can poison you, and your position matters if you're front or back. Like, just little things that make it so much easier or harder. But if you just go in and go, oh, I'm just gonna fight it, or I'll grind a little and go beat it, you're gonna get your ass beat.
Yeah.
Like 80% of people that play that game, like it's a 4-disc game on the Xbox 360, and people are like, "I'm done. First boss, I don't want to go do this anymore." But like if you stuck with it and learned the strategy, it's so rewarding because there's so much depth to it. But it's one of those things. JRPGs are awesome.
Well, they also do like an MMO mission where like, I don't know, this little seed thing, whatever the fucking creature was called. He's like, I need friends. Get me a friend. And like I would go around the corner and ask the guy if he wants to be friend with this creature.
That was my hang up with that game. Is it felt like an MMO without other people to me.
That's weird.
It is kind of strange, but that's like Final Fantasy 12-ish too.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get me started with 12. 12 is
Okay,
such a That's tragic.
Oh, you're gonna need a license for that. Fucking goddamn worst shit ever.
That wasn't an illegal attack.
Fucking license board.
Yellow
Shut
card.
up.
It's
Board up your fucking
Yellow card on the fire too.
The Gambit system was one of the coolest things they had ever done with how like gameplay worked. For them to then go make the license system, which sucked absolute ass, and then to go on and then have like some like design for some of the coolest characters with no real plot or depth to them at all, followed by a protagonist that we gave literally no shit about at all.
He literally doesn't matter to the story.
He made the annoying character, like the obligatory pissant annoying character, the protagonist, which is the worst thing that they could have done.
That's supposed to be a side character in Final Fantasy.
Exactly.
It's supposed to be, Zell, Prompto, fucking one of those losers.
Yeah, they made him
Yuffie.
Yeah. They made it the main character, and you're like, fuck, why'd you do that? It's so awful. But there's so many things that elements of the game.
Right? It's not Van's story. He's just like there.
He's the chronicler. He's there to chronicle the story.
It's not like in Final Fantasy X, which literally starts with, "I'm Titus, and this is my story."
It wasn't really his story though. It was Yuna's story.
Spoiler.
Yeah, he was never actually there. Yeah, Titus was never actually there. He's been dead the whole time. Yeah. What?
Whoa, major spoilers.
It's like 6 cents bullshit.
What the care?
Yeah, Titus is Bruce Willis. Did you not know?
I'm a ghost with daddy issues.
Did you know the red?
Wow.
Japanese thing of
That's the summary of that game. A ghost with daddy issues explores the world.
Did you know the doorknobs were red? That's why you knew Bruce Willis was dead. So those are the 2 games that I played. So just to like recap a little bit, Terminator 2 sucked, and then Xenoblade Chronicles is great. So I banged a 6 to appreciate a fucking 10, I guess.
That's how you can look at it. There you go.
Yeah. So I did those games. What I watched literally, Terminator 1 to watch it, Terminator 2 because I had to. And then I watched a bunch of fan-made Terminator bullshit, where Skynet. I think I said it before on the show, but there's a fan-made movie where like Skynet finds John Connor lives, and he's like the last fucking human on Earth. And Skynet's like, sorry, bro. Now I understand humans. Instead of like, I want to be good now and all that stuff. So I'm going to send a fucking Terminator to the past to fix everything.
Oh, I was hoping you said Skynet fell in love with John Connor.
That would be fucking hilarious. It was a female fucking Terminator, but a female Skynet. So that was funny. I watched A&E's biography of Roddy Piper on there. Really good. So
He's in the new episode of Best of the Worst.
And I also watched fucking It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia with Roddy Piper in it as also because
the maniac.
The maniac, that's right.
The maniac loves all of his children. I don't have kids no more.
Oh, you have kids?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
So what's he got in his car? Is it a bunch of chestnuts or something?
Yeah.
Is
Has he been foraging?
Fuck.
I fucking love anything he's involved in. Later on, they would keep bringing him back, and he's like fucking doing the pyramid scheme and shit. He's like, I got friends. They'll buy from the maniac. They really love me. Yeah, they're reliable.
What's great about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is like you literally turn on any episode and just fucking die laughing. Scott Bakula, when he like sings in the window and shit, is funny. I'll get the YouTube video. I don't know the lyrics, but he talks about like, cause he's doing like a quantum leap kind of thing where he's like, I'm back to, being this guy and stuff. And he's asking for Z and all that stuff. And he's not there anymore because I think he recently passed away during that episode. The actor who plays Z. But yeah, I also on a Roddy Piper kick, I didn't watch They Live, but I watched the next best great thing, Hell Goes to Frogtown.
Hell yeah!
And then I followed it up with Andy's fucking YouTube video.
Hell yeah, double hell yeah!
Yeah, so check out
Go
Andy's.
watch it.
Yeah,
Everyone.
check out Andy's video. Is it cliche mustache?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, go check it out. It's a great video. And it's a fucking... It's funny because I'm getting some color. We recently watched King of the Ring. Was it King of the Ring?
Yeah, it was King
yeah,
of the Ring
it was King of the
94.
Ring.
King
Yeah.
Owen.
Yeah,
King Owen James Hart.
Roddy Piper was the fucking main event against Jerry Lawler, and he did like a fucking promo where he talks about, yeah, I know Hell Goes to Frogtown was a bad movie, but you didn't bring up They Lived and all that stuff. So I thought that was hilarious. That's all I did really. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos about like journaling because I kind of want to do journaling. I don't know why, because just so that I could write shit. And I bought a bunch of journals because I don't know. I have corn the long way. I guess I eat corn the long way.
Like Bill Goldberg eats corn the long way.
Is that what people do who eat corn the long way? They journal?
Yes.
All right, so Indiana Jones's father ate corn the long way.
Yes.
Right? Because of all his journals and his Grail diary. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I've done. I know I talked a lot. I'm sorry. Andy, what the hell you been watching, playing, or doing?
I've been watching more Sopranos. I finished season 3. Kind of minor spoilers that I'm about to say, but it's going to be confusing because of the name, so it's not going to matter. The last episode of season 3 at Jackie Jr.'s funeral, where Junior, Tony's uncle, is singing. Man, that scene is so fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that show. It's I've been really enjoying it. Before I started the next season, I was taking a small break and trying to do some other stuff. I beat Metal Gear Solid, which it's Metal Gear Solid. I love that game. It's one of my favorite games ever. There's a new Grand Tour special. I watched Grand Tour Euro Crash. It was funny. It's always funny. I like watching those shows. Apparently, there's at least 3 more specials coming before the show's over for good. So I'm looking forward to that.
Did they crash?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of. I mean, mostly.
As long as it's not false advertising.
No, it's not. I played a little VR racing on the Switch. I don't remember why. I just played it for like 40 minutes one night. And that game is like hard but fair, if that makes sense.
You don't
Yeah,
get
makes
motion
sense.
sickness?
What's that?
You don't get motion sickness?
No.
No? Okay. I do.
I played a little Quake 2. I wanted to wait because I know Zach and I were talking about playing Quake 2 at the same time, but it just came out and it's a great price and it comes with all this extra trash. And I was like, I'm just going to buy it. I just want it. So I played it for a little bit and it feels good to play. So I'm excited to play through that. I went to the movie theater and I did the meme thing and I saw Barbenheimer. I saw Oppenheimer and Barbie on the same day.
Wow.
Was it amazing as everybody said it was?
I mean, they're both good movies, so yeah, I guess.
Barbie. Did Barbie change the world?
We cheated a little bit. We didn't see them like back to back. There wasn't a showing soon enough, so we left and looked at Pokemon cards and got lunch and then came back.
Well, that sounds even better.
Cheated a little bit. Also, you're supposed to watch it in Barbie and then Oppenheimer, and I said no, we're not fucking doing that. Oppenheimer is definitely going to be depressing. We will watch Oppenheimer first, and then we'll watch Barbie.
So is that when
you watch Oppenheimer is what you did?
That's right. That's exactly right. No, Oppenheimer is fantastic. That is a very good movie. I'm surprised no one's seeing it. Like, I don't have any friends to discuss it with.
So is that when Ken bangs Barbie and says, "I become death"?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, and I really liked Barbie. Like, it's a good movie. It's not like gonna change my life or anything, but I had a lot of fun. I laughed at it a bunch. It's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else. I lost my place. Oh, there we go. I watched Mobile Suit Gundam Kukuru's Stone's Island.
Is that out?
It is out, and it is free on YouTube right now with English subtitles.
Oh shit!
They whenever they release new Gundam shit, they always like put it online with subtitles for like 10 languages, and you can watch it free for like a month, and then it goes away, and then they release it on DVD and Blu-ray eventually. So I always try to catch it when it's free, and it's really good. I liked it a lot. one of the most interesting things about it for the uninitiated, like Zach will know this, but no one else does. It takes place in the middle of the original Mobile Suit Gundam series. It was originally episode 15, but it was such a pathetically terrible episode. They took it out of circulation and never put it on DVDs, never dubbed it into English. They just got rid of it, just wiped it from the face of the franchise. But there's a couple things that happen in the episode that kind of matter later, so it's kind of confusing. So it's I had pirated it and watched it subtitled, and yeah, it sucks out loud, but there's a few things that happen in it that you kind of need to know. But yeah, the movie fixes all that, and it's really cool. And I mean, keeping in line with all the recent, like, Thunderbolt and Origin and stuff, the action, like the actual fights, are all animated fantastic. They're really good. But then, where some of their more recent stuff has been lacking on the story front, they do a really good job because it's all the original characters. It's like Amuro and Kai and Bright and Sayla and all those losers. So they don't have to like build up their character because the series exists. So they just don't they don't force feed you anything, is what I mean to say. It just kind of goes, and you just have to know who all these characters are, and it works really well for that. But if you didn't watch the original Gundam, you might be like, what the fuck's going on? So they really do play it just like it's an hour and 40-minute episode of Mobile Suit Gundam from 1979. So it's really
Does he still throw the giant boulder?
No.
Fuck!
But they do this really clever thing in the original episode. He picked a Zaku up over the Gundam's head and threw it. And that happens technically. They do a really clever thing with it, but it still happens. So it's pretty cool.
Okay. All right.
So was it called Mobile Suit Gundam Uwu Island?
His first name doesn't make sense. Doan's Island, basically.
Yeah, Doan's Island would be the best way to.
Yeah, but it's free on YouTube. It's worth watching. But again, if you haven't watched the original series, it's not a good entry to Gundam. It's more it's fan service. It's for Gundam fans.
I'm gonna watch it right after this.
Well, do it then. I don't care.
Go watch fucking One Piece and watch something worth fucking watching.
Yeah, why don't you watch some Gundam? Gundam it.
Fucking reading to do is why.
Oh my god.
It's
Is that drunk buy-in?
Yeah, it's drunk. I'm gonna read all Dragon Ball. He was like crying in the middle of the night. Like,
Carl, no, why they take you? Tambourine, I'm gonna get you.
Besides
Spoilers.
that, I started Eternal Darkness. I'm only like an hour into it, so not much to say about it yet. I was a lady, and then I was a Roman, and then I was like a Thai lady. So I don't know what's going on.
I never beat that game.
What possessed you to go to that? Like, just it was next.
Oppenheimer.
No, I was gonna say I meant to bring up. It was super bizarre beating Metal Gear Solid, going and seeing Oppenheimer, and then watching Terminator because they're all like centered around fear of the bomb.
Yeah.
They all have that same kind of like it. To hear me say it, you're probably like, well, that doesn't make sense. But no, they all like in Metal Gear Solid, they talk forever about the CTBT and Start 2 and Start 3 and development of nuclear weapons. Oh, my father, he worked on a Manhattan. Or no, my grandfather worked on the Manhattan Project. And my dad was born August 7th, 1945. Oh my god! And then Oppenheimer, which you know what Oppenheimer's fucking about, and then. Again, fear of the bomb in Terminator. I don't know, it's just weird. Like I saw all those things like back to back to back, and it's
some people don't know what Oppenheimer's about. You go to Google, you type in Oppenheimer, you see it's Oppenheimer based on a real story.
I know that's true. But something really funny did happen to me, and I would get screamed at if anyone ever found out I told this story. But we sat down to see it, and my girlfriend goes, "What's this movie about?" I said, "Are you serious?"
No.
I said, "It's about Robert Oppenheimer, the guy who worked on the Manhattan Project." And she goes, "Oh, what's the Manhattan Project?"
No.
I said,
you know what you should have done? You should have been like,
the thing they did to make the atomic bomb. And she said, "Okay, I'm up to speed now."
You should have been like, he's the inventor of the Manhattan clam chowder.
I thought about just like blowing it off and be like, "Oh, I guess you're gonna figure it out." But
you'll find out. It's like what John Connor said, Terminator 2. We're not gonna make it, are we?
In the early 1980s, four large turtles that fuck karate were
I get it
discovered
a little
in the
bit.
sewers of New York.
If you don't know who Oppenheimer is, I kind of get it. Like Einstein, I don't know who that is. Have you seen that footage of, I think it was a trailer or something for Oppenheimer, and people applaud when Einstein's in the trailer? Have you seen that?
No.
It's fucking hilarious. I saw it on the Red Letter Media subreddit. It's fucking hysterical.
When they mark out for Einstein.
They mark out for Einstein because they're like, that's Einstein, I know who that is.
Yeah.
That's so weird. What the fuck?
What the fuck? That's so bizarre. But
I lost my humanity in that type of thing when someone like unironically like tagged a complaint about the ending to Spielberg's Lincoln because they didn't like how it ended. I was like, well, what did you want him just to get fuck up and beat his ass and then just start go fucking slaying vampires and shit?
He should have landed on the moon.
It's yeah. I mean, whatever. And then Jurassic Park happened. Fucking
fucking dinosaurs on the moon. Fuck. Sorry, this Mike's Hard Lemonade is fucking me up.
That's harder lemonade.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get to finish because Dubs was like dying over there, but I was gonna say the Ninja Turtles was the true Manhattan Project. But I think you put 2 and 2 together. It was funny. It was good.
I heard you.
Secret of the Ooze.
The only other thing I did is I've been watching off and on. Games Done Quick is doing another marathon this week, and some of it has like been terrible, so I've turned it off. But yesterday there was a Resident Evil 4 remake playthrough followed by that Fear playthrough, and they were both really good. So I guess you gotta pick and choose. I was trying right before this. I was trying to watch. There was a speed run of Pokemon Blue, but they were doing the gyms in reverse order, and that sounds cool, but the commentator just sucked. Like that sucks it out for me. I really like the way Games Done Quick always done it is there's a speedrunner and they do have a microphone. They'll speak and they'll say what they're doing, but there's a commentator, and the commentator also knows the game intimately and knows all the tricks. So that when the speedrunner is like in the zone and can't talk because they're trying to like do some obtuse 1 in 100 chance game breaking wall skip jump thing, the commentator will say, we'll see what they're doing here is they're going to try to do this, and they have to do it on the 60th frame of a second or else it doesn't work because of this, and there's a global clock and the frame skip. Like that, I like that. But the first day they were speed running some games, including Sonic Adventure 2. I was like, oh, I want to watch that. That sounds fun. But the commentator didn't know Sonic Adventure 2. So they were just like bullshitting and just like not really saying anything to do with the game. They were just like talking about Sonic in general. And I was like, well, that's no fun. I like the reason I'm watching this is to watch someone tear a game apart that I already know. That's what's interesting. And if you're not explaining it to me, then I'm not interested.
Do you remember the part, it was a long time ago, where like the commentator was talking too much and the player like turned to him and he's like, I would like you to be quiet.
Yeah. I watched recently, I watched a YouTube video just about that guy. He's a streamer, and apparently he's like autistic, surprise. And like a complete weirdo, and that's not the only time he's made himself semi-internet famous.
Yeah.
What was his name? Chibi. Chibi's his name.
Yeah.
But no, there's a YouTube documentary about him, and it's very funny.
There's sorry to like butt in again, but there's also another Games Done Quick guy where he cheated a speed run for Halo and then went to one of these events and like didn't know what to do. And he's like kept on dying. And he's like, I'm just gonna turn on easy mode and just fucking beat the game. Even though we talked about Fear, because I asked, if the speedrunner was playing on hard and she was playing on easy, because that game on hard, and she mentions it, that the AI is really good in Fear. So I was like, man, if that's on hard mode and she's doing like, because she was like walking past the AI, like you have to study the AI and what they're doing.
She still got hung up a few times. Like the AI would do something unexpected and like fuck everything up.
Yeah.
But that's what I like. I like people explaining to me, oh, we're doing it on this difficulty and this is why and stuff like that. It's interesting. It's like watching a performative documentary about a video game or something like that. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I really like it. So I've been catching. I have the schedule up in another window, and I have this week off work. So every once in a while, I'll sit down and watch a little bit of one. It's been really interesting. What they're doing right now is yeah, I guess it's a speedrunning group, Flame Fatales, but they're all women.
Mhm.
Like a weird gimmick, but okay, every single speedrunner has been a woman, and all the commentators have been women, and blah blah blah. So at first I thought it was Frame Fatales, which made way more sense. And when I found out it was Flame Fatales, I was like, oh, that's lame. I was disappointed for no reason whatsoever. But no, it's been entertaining. Like it's definitely not everyone's cup of tea, but I like that kind of shit, so I've been watching a lot of it. But
Right now they're doing a Super Metroid.
Yeah, Super Metroid was coming up. I was going to watch the end of it after this if it's still going on.
Yeah. Another VTuber, by the way. There's been a lot of VTubers that have
Yeah,
been
that's right. The Fear one was a VTuber, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
Yeah, just for you normies out there, VTuber is like they put like on this tracksuit kind of thing or track beacons that either your phone or your web camera can capture.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
I always wondered.
Yeah, and then they would capture like your eye movement and your mouth. So every time like you talk, that's why like her mouth was moving. And
I wondered because it was like blinking and the lips were moving in realistic ways. I was like, that's either like programmed really clever, or I didn't realize it was actually tracking the actual woman. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's mostly they use their phone because obviously we have $800 phones and stuff that is, better than putting it.
There's like Snapchat filters that just blow me away. I can't believe they do what they do.
Yeah.
Becoming an old man over here. But most of them have been, they're actually like on the camera and they'll explain what they're doing. And it's been really entertaining. I don't know. I recommend people check it out. And you might be like, this is boring and you'll stop watching it. But I think a lot of people will discover something to like in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for me. I watched a bunch of movies and Sopranos and played a bunch of video games. Good job, me.
Nice. Gabagool. Chaz, what about you?
Yeah. So continuing on from the stuff that I was watching last week, I finished up the rest of season 1 of Tales from the Territories. The remainder of it just covered the Jim Crockett Promotions territory, and then it covered the territory out in Portland. It's actually where Roddy Piper got his start. I remember the name of it. And then I also watched the one on Hawaii, which was kind of cool, where the Samoans got their start, and like the Maivia family and everything. So it's kind of neat. Then it was more just like having it on while because you've noticed I'm packing and different stuff. I put on like Dark Side of the Ring, so I had the UWF Abrams. God, that guy was crazy.
God.
Fucking what a cokehead! My God, that guy was fucking nuts. But like, it's just entertaining as hell. But I watched that. I watched Brawl for All, which again, just anything with Russo just getting shit on.
Bro.
And then Ultimate Warrior. I watched that episode. I watched the first Terminator before watching stuff. I watched Guardians 3 finally. It's actually the first Marvel media that I have watched in quite a while. Like it's one of those things I stayed out of and just hadn't been keeping up with anything for like several months. But we watched that and I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. Oh. I mean, it wasn't like mind-blowingly great and like the whole cinematic universe is saved or anything nonsense like that, but like it was a fun movie. The soundtrack, I would argue the soundtrack for it might have been the best of the 3 movies because it varied a lot. It played it actually had some more more tracks that were 90s and even like some early 2000s stuff from it. But I don't know, it was a good blend of things. But the story was pretty good. It was a little longer than it probably needed to be, but it was fine. I don't know if you guys have watched it yet or not.
I watched it.
Yeah, it was okay. A bit darker than I thought it was going to go with some of the stuff they covered. But I mean, again, nothing like crazy or anything. It was fun. They finally started to air English dub version of Bleach: Thousand Year War again. Like it took a break in between. I don't know how many episodes they're going to have that continue to run, but like at this point, like it's enjoyable because they're like it's the finality of finishing that entire series. But it could be dog shit, and it's like I got to finish watching it because it's that weird. Like we're all somewhere on the spectrum. Mine is I don't like to leave shit like that unturned. I got to finish it, so I'm got to finish it. but there are only 2 episodes so far, and it's taken some pretty interesting plot twists. Like there was a main character that has effectively turned into like he's now like the heir to the main villain who's like killed off who the person who basically everyone thought was God. So it's like, oh, that's interesting. So anyway, enjoying that. Just naturally because I'm trying to figure out who I want to play in Street Fighter 6, and I still haven't settled on anyone. I've been watching different videos of just like different strategies for different characters, and just in general just watching some of the guys play, and it's entertaining just to have on too, just more stuff to watch. And that's what led me to find this video. I don't remember the guy's name. Actually, I'd probably just look it up, put some respect on his name. But he makes these like huge like deep dives into like the lore of games, and he had a video that like went crazy viral. It was like the insane lore of Tekken. Oh, there it is. Clement J64. Yes, like a year ago, he just made this like 2-hour video and thought no one's gonna watch this. And it's got 4 million views now, and it's just explaining like in chronological order like the insanity of Tekken.
It's fucking ridiculous, honestly.
Yeah, I've never watched it actually. I'll probably watch it next because it seems like it's just gonna be funny, like based on what I've watched with this this other. But he has a near 3-hour video now that just came out on the insane lore of Street Fighter, and I have like an hour left.
You have to link me that.
Oh yeah, I'll send it to you. It is fucking hilarious. Because he like gets to a point and like I'll just explain it. Because he's doing it in chronological order, and he also is making sure to tie in characters that are relevant to the story, but aren't necessarily fully fledged Street Fighter characters, like your Final Fight and other stuff. He goes into those backstories. So he keeps doing the thing where he's presenting how he's going to get to Street Fighter 2, and he's like, nope, wait, got to do this first. And it's like an hour and 20 minutes into it, and he's like, okay, finally, we'll talk about Street Fighter 2. And then he gets to it, and he's like, there's not much to say.
Yeah, because a lot of the lore hadn't been developed yet.
Yeah.
Like, listen, the game's like all time, and it's great. That's effectively what happened. Is like, well, there's really not a lot of lore. Like, this is the game that helped like springboard it, but then the lore was created after. But then chronologically, it happened before. It's just hilarious, like how insane it is. But the cover, I laughed like nonstop. Had to pause it because I was like coughing, laughing about how he talks about Final Fight and how some guy that's a professional wrestler, and he goes, by the way, wrestling is real, but in the world of Capcom, wrestling is fucking real. And he's going on about how Mike Hagar just decides, you know what, crime is terrible here in Metro City, New Jersey. And people are like, why would you call it New Jersey? Well, New York City still exists in the world of Capcom, and you can see, and you can actually see the Statue of Liberty. So it was actually explained later that it is across the river. So Metro City is a sister city to New York City on the other side of the bay in New Jersey.
That's Tony Soprano's turf.
Yeah, well, New Jersey's the armpit of fucking New York.
Anyway, well, that explains all the crime. Well, Mike Hagar wasn't having it. He said, nope, I'm going to use the power of fist. And then he's like, this guy just says, I'm going to become mayor. I'm going to clean up the streets with my bare hands if I have to.
That's what Tony Soprano did.
And then they kidnapped his daughter, and he said, I just started pile driving motherfuckers until they gave her back. And it goes through the whole thing. It's pretty funny, but it's accurate. He covers a lot of deep lore throughout the games. Explains a lot of really cool stuff that I didn't know. Like, again, what is it, Sodom that's in the Final Fight game? It talks about the weeb thing. It's like even explains the weeb. Like, he's like true like OG definition of weeb.
He is a weeb. He's just like a psychotic weeb. That's what he is.
Yeah. So yeah, it's great. He's like the textbook true like definition of what a weeb is. But
does he read brother sister? Sorry.
He probably does.
Yeah, he might do it. I don't know, but yeah, it's yeah, it was really good so far. I mean, I'll keep the rest of my opinions until I'll finish all of it. But so far, it's been great. I'm like right in the middle of Street Fighter 4, and then he's covering 3 or 5, then 3, I think, because technically in chronological order, it's 1 alpha of the alpha series, then 2, then 4, then 5, then 3. And then 6 is probably between 5 and 3, but he didn't cover 6 because he's like, I haven't played that yet. I don't know I'm not getting there yet, so we're not gonna go over it. But there's a neat little thing I learned: the money in in Street Fighter 6, the currency in the game has Dr. Light, Professor Light from Mega Man.
That's kind of neat.
Yeah, he is the person on the currency. It was like interesting. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, just neat little stuff like that they're tying in. Probably nothing, but just cool Easter eggs. But let's see. It's where for watching stuff. So did a couple things this weekend. This past weekend where I was like already here anyway and on call, nothing else to do. So I went to the Friday Night Fight event, and we did Guilty Gear. It was like the first official tournament because last week it was like the first day and it was like friendlies and stuff. And I went there and I got dead last. It was great. I got my ass fucking scrubbed. Did not win a single match. It was pretty funny. But had a lot of fun. Then played some Street Fighter with others. I got to try someone's Hori fight pad and then got home and instantly bought it. That fight pad is fucking amazing.
Great.
Dubs, you got it yet? Yeah, I have.
Yeah,
I have the
got it.
PlayStation one. It's phenomenal.
2 endorsements.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I've been trying to figure it out, because depending on the character I've been playing, like I've like been teching and playing with like 4 or 5 different characters, and I actually map my controls differently depending on the ones I've used. Like 3 different ways, yeah. Another thing that inspired me with that was this past weekend. So Evo happened the weekend before, and Angry Bird, who's the best Ken player in the world, won Evo, right? Well, then they had an event, I think in Saudi Arabia. So he was like hometown, and he went to the finals, but he lost to Kakaru, who was playing. He's the best JP in the world, and it wasn't even close. This guy shit all over him in their best of 5 series in the reset. He perfect parried him 32 times, and it goes to show that if you perfect parry, you just completely wreck your opponent. Like perfect parry is such a important thing to learn how to do. But especially with someone like JP, like you're like the guy who's like untouchable. So I've been practicing the parry tech, trying to figure out how to parry different things. They even proved too, like that some of Ken's mechanics that are like people always complain about, like his Dragon Lash kick, you can actually perfect parry, and if you do, it's huge punish. So like there's things like that are going to open the game up, because now people are not just blocking on instinct. If you're actually learning how to perfect parry, it matters, and then that will make other characters much more viable. Like Mano, or you don't have to just have that easy dragon punch that's invincible. But JP is a stupid ass character. I've been playing and learning combos with him, and I know it sounds awful because he is a zoner. And people are going to hate me when I play him, but it's kind of fucking funny. He's really fucking strong. But yeah, I've had fun playing that. I played a modded Smash 64 game that had like Goemon and Wario and a bunch of others. And some kid walked by and was like, "Hey, is that the kid from My Hero Academia?" And they were like, and then they saw that I was playing Luigi, but Luigi had a Waluigi skin, like a color palette, which isn't in the 64 game, but it was on that one. And they go, "That looks like Mario from Fortnite." I can't even make this up. It's like a 5-year-old kid, and they were like, "That's Mario from Fortnite and My Hero Academia," and we were losing it. Like we were laughing so hard because like this is what our generation's at. They're just it's you guys were bringing it up earlier about the Spider-Man thing, and I was like it's exactly what it is. Everyone's just gonna reference it to like 2 things they've seen because it's like some cross reference.
It's either I saw it on Fortnite or TikTok. Like.
Yeah, basically, but it's pretty hilarious. Let's see. Yeah, and I've been doing. I like once a week or something. I just go like on a 1 to 2 hour like just drum bonanza with Rock Band. It's like my weird cardio for the week, which is probably says a lot about how poor my health is. But it's a lot of fun. I didn't play in any Pokemon card game stuff. There was a trade night that I went to and actually got a bunch of really cool stuff. I picked up a couple things. Most of it for myself, some for some friends. If you know, some pictures. But we'll work out details later. But as far as other stuff, I was able to trade for a lot of first edition stuff that I was trying to get. And then a new set came out. City in Flames came out, and I have opened lots of Charizards. That's the big one this time. So
Something different.
Yeah, something different, right? Oh, but he's dark. So people were already like getting in trouble because they keep naming their like on the deck editor stuff. They keep naming their Pokemon deck BBC, and you're like, why can't you name it? It's like Big Black Charizard.
That's right.
That's what he is. He's literally dark type Charizard. They did it to
Urban
themselves.
Charizard.
Urban Charizard, dear Jesus.
Basketball American Charizard.
Basketball American. Oh my goodness. That's okay. If I'm going to be playing in the very first regionals of the season because my goal in 2024 is to go to Worlds because World Championships happen this weekend and they announced next year's and it's in Hawaii, which is actually even more viable than the other. But
hope it's not Maui. Sorry.
If it's still there, it'll be held in Hawaii.
Too soon.
It'll be be fine. They'll do something to fix it. FEMA will be there. They'll fix it eventually. But yeah, I want to try to get to Worlds and actually get to go. So anyway, I'm playing that first season, and yeah, if we get to name your decks and different things. So I was already thinking about what I would name my deck if I played, and a lot of people were playing Charizard with Arceus, which is God. So my name, the name of the deck that I already had was God and Charizard Barkley. So like that's. I think that's what I'll stick with. Now it's even funnier with the Basketball American. I was like, I didn't even think of that. It's like extra layers, but yeah, been enjoying that. Got a lot of really cool looking arts too, like in the set. I think it's like an underrated set that's going to end up being worth a lot more later because there's a ton of really cool art and the stuff's selling for super cheap, but there's not very much of it's been made.
Is it in GameStop yet? The deck?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I know you can go pick up boxes and packs and stuff, and like I ended up getting like a super good deal on the stuff and opening up a bunch of boxes. So the other thing I wanted to get was in order to play it in the deck too. But if you buy one of those Elite Trainer boxes, you get the little promo Charmander, and the Charmander, it's that picture of that Charmander where he's got his head up against the window because his Pidgey's out in his backyard, and he's so mad, and it's like that's my favorite picture ever. Like I'm always a Squirrel boy, but man, that art is fucking great. So yeah.
You know what I kind of wish they would do, like to do homage to like the movie Birds and shit, and just have a bunch of Pidgeys fucking like smashing into a phone booth. That'd be fucking funny as shit.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sorry.
Nah, you're good. I mean, that's another. Actually, funny enough, you mentioned Pidgey. The Pidgeot in the set is actually, at first people talked about it, I was like, oh, that's kind of neat, but it's a stage 2 and I don't know. The card's fucking stupid because the effect on it says once per turn, just whenever you want, you can just search your deck for any card and put it in your hand.
The fuck?
That is in
Doesn't
Pokemon,
even say
that
a
is
type, it's just a card.
a card. It is a fucking insane ability, and you don't have to. It's not evolve. It is literally once a turn. Just anytime you like, you just go and get a card every turn. It is actually insanely stupid, and I think a lot of people were sleeping on it because stage 2 stuff, and they're like, oh, but people are going to keep playing these really fast decks and whatever. Well, it doesn't fucking matter if you play something that's already playing stage 2s and you just rare candy at turn 2. You I've like been playing between online and then playing in paper, just like testing. And you can turn 2, you can just have your Arceus already evolved, use its V-Star ability to go get any 2 cards. You get your rare candy and your Pidgeot, then you evolve it, and then if you need a supporter for that turn, you can go get that off the Pidgeot, and you've like built a board already with all these insane cards turn 2. And it's like, well, what's your opponent going to do? They're not going to do anything. They're going to lose. Like it actually seems like it's almost too good when the format slows down. But there I go again, talking about them animals I'm making fight on the cardboard.
You're like Michael Vick of Pokemon.
Oh, Michael Vick never won anything though. I'd rather be like Brett Favre because he also
his dick.
Well, what football player hasn't shown their dick? But he also did dog fighting, but he was respected for it.
I didn't know that.
I don't know. It's probably not true. I don't know.
Don't slander Brett Favre.
It was a joke. Brett Favre's already gotten in his own trouble for that weird shit that he was in the news for. What was some fraud scheme or something he was in?
I don't know. I just remember him showing his dick to a reporter.
Well, he had like the weird fraud thing. He got tied in, and Ted DiBiase Jr. was tied into it as well. It was the same scandal. Yeah.
He's getting like 45 years in jail apparently.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fucked.
Yep. Everybody's got a price.
Yeah.
So does he. Yep.
Anything else, Chaz?
No. Just moving, getting out of here. Oh yeah, the Dragon Ball thing I showed off earlier. I just totally found that in my basement. I've just been chilling down there. It's the it's an entire manga collection of the original Dragon Ball series, from start to finish. So that's kind of neat.
In my mind, I just pictured you saying to those Warhammer people, nerds, picking up Pokemon, and then just all the fucking manga of Dragon Ball. That's what I pictured in my head.
Oh no! Actually, a friend messaged me once and was like, "Hey, do you like Dragon Ball?" And I was like, "Yeah." It's like, I'm a fucking nerd. Of course, I like it. I found these. Do you want them? Like, yeah, I'll take them. And he just had the. I thought it was like a one book or something. No, it's a whole set. And I've just stowed it away. I've never read it. But it's there. Maybe one day I'll look into it. But I just recently watched it, so it's like I wonder how different it is. Comparison, but
I read the first 3 volumes and very, very much loved it. But after that, I stopped buying them.
Let's check it out. But yeah, all 18 just hanging out.
All right. Well, Zach, what the hell have you been watching, playing, or doing?
There's not much talk about play-wise. That has not changed. So just I watched a lot of stuff. I watched 3 Hellraiser sequels in the Hellraiser series.
Jeez, settle down.
And where I last left off, I watched 3. So I watched Hellraiser Bloodline, this 4th one. Yeah, I forgot. I think this came up in the chat on the show one time or something. It's like, you know how like people will, there's a movie and there's a device or some plot device or something, and it's not explained fully, but it's fine. And then they get the lame ass idea that they need to over explain that fucking device or that element of the plot or whatever.
I hate that.
They did it in Hellraiser Bloodline because it's all about where the lament configuration, the little box that the Cinnabons come out of.
The Cinnabons.
It's all about that. And it's a guy in France fucking made it. And
why? I always just kind of figured it just is.
I thought it was some kind of other extra dimensional artifact or some shit. Yeah, like something out of Quake or whatever.
Yeah, I thought it just like it came into existence because of evil or some shit.
No, some French prick's like,
some French prick was a complete douche and made it. And fucking no, the way they explained it was this guy was a toy maker in France, and then some fucking asshole that looks like Salazar from Resident Evil was like a black magic motherfucker and commissioned him to make it. So he like summoned demons and bound fucking magic to the box or whatever the fuck. And I hate that. And the movie was not good, and it was clearly low budget. And yeah, it was rough.
So now I just wondered through that, are the Cenobites, are the Cinnabons weak to eggs?
No. They're weak to poor writing.
Like Salazar?
Yeah, Salazar, he got it. Yeah.
I know what you're doing. But then there was Hellraiser Inferno, and that movie. This is what's interesting about all 3 of these movies is they all suck for very different reasons.
Like they kept trying different things and just it wouldn't stick.
Yeah, so like Bloodline sucks because they tried to over-explain something about Hellraiser that did not need explained. Hellraiser Inferno sucks because I swear to God, somebody wanted to make a movie and they couldn't get it made, and they were able to make a Hellraiser movie, so they went ahead and tried to cram in the movie they wanted to make in it. That's what it feels like. Because I know I throw out random figures like 3/4, 2/3, fucking, I like to use fractions to explain how long something is.
Steiner math.
Yeah, Steiner. No, this is real math. But, Steiner math is when you start like fucking throwing equations into it, shit. But like, anyway, I'm not exaggerating about this. You go 3/4 through this movie, and there's nothing that indicates it's like a fucking Hellraiser movie, except for one scene in the very beginning where you see Pinhead. And then you go to the rest of the movie, and there's no fucking, like, it could be a shitty Silent Hill movie or something. Like, something like that. But it's all like, this movie comes off like somebody wanted to make like a neo, like a thriller noir asshole detective movie. Like the detective is a scumbag asshole. And
at least Pinhead's back, right? Because you said they like killed him or something.
no, Pinhead never dies. He just gets defeated.
He is the eternal Cinnabon.
He is the eternal Cinnabon that cannot be eaten. But
he is the Cinnabon with which
the eternal Cinnabon in the food court of hell.
But like, yeah, it's just following this guy around. You see how much of a fucking asshole he is, and then like weird shit is happening to him, and it's not explained like what's going on. And it turns out the whole time he was in hell. He was in Pinhead hell, where he was being tortured, and in Pinhead's own words, is because he was a severe asshole in life, and this is what he deserved. So it's like, oh, okay, and that sucked because of it wasn't really a Hellraiser movie until like the last 15 minutes.
They tried to do it was all a dream.
It was like that kind of a movie.
It's kind of like that Cloverfield movie with John Goodman, who's in the bunker, and then you find out it's a Cloverfield movie at the end.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Then Hellraiser Hellseeker, it sucks because it's just insane shit is happening all the time, and you cannot get a break. It's like every 15 to 30 seconds, the guy from the fucking Allstate insurance, the one where he's like, I'm mayhem, I cause bad shit to happen. Like the guy from the insurance commercial, he's the main character in this movie.
You in good hands.
Yeah. And he marries Kirsty from like the first two movies. And what he does is, this is the plot, he finds out that she has like an inheritance or something, and him and like this asshole coworker at his job devise a plot to murder her so they can get rich.
What?
Yeah, but like you don't learn this until the very end of the movie, though. So it kind of does almost the same thing as the last movie does, but it's instead of it just being like, this feels like some random bullshit detective movie. This is like insane shit happening every scene, and you can't get a breath. It never is normal.
There's not always a scene where they go to the desert and learn to high five.
No. There's no scene where Sarah's like, my son's like father figure is a fucking machine that tried to kill me. Like something like that. But no, like it'll be something like he's at work. It almost feels like Phantasmagoria too a little bit. If you ever watch like a playthrough of that,
I heard that, Curtis.
See, now that you've said it, I just want the insanity. If fuck Terminator versus RoboCop, I want Terminator versus Hellraiser.
Lord!
I want I want Skynet to happen, but then they decide that they figure out there's another portal because they find the contraption, and then they have to fight the Cenobites. So Arnold and all the other Terminators come together with the Cenobites, and they get other Cenobites from like other futures and come together. And it's just a shit ton of crazy Pinhead Cinnabons fighting robots.
There's this website.
The Terminators have no reason to activate the cube, so you need a third party in there. And my proposal, Mr. Bean.
Okay. So there's this website called fanfiction.net. You can go there and write your story.
There it is. Fucking Mr. Bean.
But
someone like, don't touch that. And it's like, this?
But like, okay, here's an example. Like it starts with a car accident. Now he has amnesia. And it's like every other scene, a detective goes up to him and is like, how's it going? I wanted to ask you some questions about this. And then there's an asshole detective on the flip side. This one's nice, but he wants to tie up some loose ends. The other one's a dick. And then he goes to work. And when he's at work, they're like, hey man, you need to get busy. Like, is everything cool? And he's like, what are you talking about? He doesn't remember anything. He has amnesia. It's like the running thread through the whole fucking movie. And then he's like, just look busy. And then it'll show that one of the detectives fucking comes back and he's asking questions. And then his coworker, it zooms in on him and he's like, what the fuck is that about? just stuff like that. Then this woman just starts fucking dry humping him and start making out with him. And you find out it's his boss. And just rapid fire, just shit is happening. And you don't know where it comes from or like why.
Where are the Cinnabons and all this?
They come later.
You don't have to take your clothes off to have a good time. Sorry.
That movie sucked too, though. They all three suck. They get work. Man, Hellraiser 3 is not good, but it's better than all three of these movies.
You didn't watch any of the. You didn't watch the space one.
No, I did. That was Hellraiser 4. That's Hellraiser Bloodline.
Oh, is that the one in space? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't mention that either. It starts in space.
It seems important to me.
Well, it's not, because the rest of the story is not in space.
No.
It's like the guy is the ancestor of the guy who created the toy maker that made the box, the French asshole that made it, and he's telling the whole story of his bloodline to this lady.
It's like a fucked up Pinocchio.
But
when are you gonna watch all the rest of the Phantasm movies?
Whenever they become more readily available, it's like they all get broken up on different streaming services, and then sometimes you can watch them and sometimes you can't.
I didn't
kind of thing.
Is there a Hellraiser game? I heard there was a lost NES game.
NES.
That sounds weird. I don't know, actually.
I mean, if they wouldn't allow crosses to be in their games, I doubt they would approve a game with hell in the title.
Probably.
I guess so. I watched Predator and Predator 2.
What's your favorite?
There's an unreleased Hellraiser game.
Yep.
Dates back to 1990. Color Dreams made it.
Oh my god. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Do I look like I believe in God? That's what he says in fucking Hellraiser 4. There it is. But no, what's my favorite Predator? I don't know, because it's one still so far, but I haven't watched the rest of this fucking series still.
Well, I'm saying like versus 1 and 2, because like
I
like 2, but it just doesn't have the same fucking flair like the first one.
No, it's weird. Like my whole life, I've always heard people shit on Predator 2, and then I watched it. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good action movie. I kind of like it.
It's good. It's one of those things where Predator. It's not that it's a gimmick, but there are diminishing returns to a point, and Predator 1's such a good film for what it is.
Yeah.
So like doing it again, you can't surprise anybody again with that, right? Like you have to come up with something completely different or crazy, and then it's no longer that movie. I mean, I'm not saying you can't make another good sequel, because I mean, I like Predator 2. I think it's fine. I watched a few of the other Predator movies, and like I like to watch the newest one. I've heard it's okay too.
Prey.
Yeah, I think is that what it's called? The one with like they come and it's like a Native American colony.
Well, I want to see that one too. I never saw it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch the rest of these, I guess. But Predator 2 was pretty good. Predator 1 is fucking awesome.
Yeah, Predator 1's the best one.
Jesse Ventura's in it, and he's fucking awesome. And I don't know, I guess he's probably my favorite character, and then he dies. And fuck.
Yeah. Hey, Tony! We can't see the enemy. Give me your gun.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Dude, makes sense.
He's bleeding. He's saying he doesn't give a fuck that he's bleeding.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I watched Terminator 1. I gave my thoughts on it, earlier. It's that's my favorite one. I watched Salem's Lot for the first time.
Ooh, I want to hear your opinion.
I liked it pretty well. It's very long though when you watch it all in that one sitting.
Because it's a miniseries.
Yeah, it was like a 2-part like thing on TV. Toby Hooper directed that.
Really?
Guy who did Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah. I think the next time I watch it or I go to show it to people, I'm going to find out where they cut it off at originally and stop it there, and then watch the second part. Because that's the only thing about it was like to sit there and watch it all the way through. It kind of ran out of steam for me a little bit, around like the last 30 minutes or whatever. But it's cool. I actually liked it pretty well. And then I found out they made a sequel, and apparently it sucks.
Yeah, don't watch the sequel.
And it has like nobody involved in it from the original.
Stephen King just like says, "Nah, it's stupid. Don't see it."
I like the way the vampires look in it, though. It was cool. I recommend it to anybody that has.
It's a modernization of Dracula.
It kind of is, yeah. It's like Stephen King's take on a Dracula, more or less. I've been watching this Castlevania retrospective that got linked to me because I've been badgering somebody I know to watch Action Button reviews, and they kind of are, but because they're so long, and he watches stuff on like this really slow drip, like it'll shave off 5-10 minutes here and there. It's like agonizing.
I'm always trying to get people to watch those, and they see the link and they don't do it. It's like
they don't do
watching bits.
Well, anyway, he's like, here, he linked me that, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I started watching it, and it was cool. And it's a good retrospective, and I found out some information I didn't know about previously, like whatever happened to the original creator of Castlevania.
Wait, I have to bring this up because you said your friend, the same friend that watches Action Button and drips because it's so long, the same video that he linked you is 7 hours.
Yeah,
I know.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not because of lack of attentiveness, somewhat. It's just that it's more like lack of free time. So I don't know, but anyway, I learned about Hitoshi Akamatsu, the guy who originally directed Castlevania, the first 3 games, and why he just dropped off the face of the earth, and you never hear about his name or anything. It's because he basically got drove out of the business. Like so many other Japanese devs tend to from around that time. But I stopped at Rondo of Blood, like just finished him talking about Rondo of Blood. And the guy who directed Rondo of Blood is interesting. Originally got his start. It's not Igarashi. He comes in on Symphony of the Night, I guess.
Yeah, he comes over from Tokimeki Memorial.
Yeah. But like... I can't remember the guy's name because this is a new name I just learned. But he got his start directing the second Game Boy game. The first one was not liked very well.
The second one's supposed to be good.
Yeah, the second one's good. Well, he shores up a lot of the weaknesses that the first one had, where it's like it didn't get the formula right, like on Game Boy, and it was hard as fuck because of like weird hitboxes and shit. He fixed it, and I think he made another Game Boy game that was also received well after that or something. And then he went straight to Rondo of Blood. And that's like the bones of like what the rest of the series kind of turned into is Rondo of Blood, really.
Yeah, Rondo's really the basis for it because of how like it sets the tone for what Symphony is, and that's what carried the series from there over like the next like 20 years. Well, kind of like at least what people like look back and revere. I mean, there's also the 3D era stuff, which is kind of
it's a mixed bag,
very divisive. I mean, I'll die on a hill. There are a couple of those 3D games that I would die on a hill for and say they're very good games people should play, but they're certainly objectively not good games.
You guys ready to be offended?
Oh,
sure.
no.
The only Castlevania I played was Lord of Shadows, the one Kojima produced.
Oh, that's the only one you've played?
Oh, Lord of Shadows is really good though. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's a fun game.
Oh yeah, fucking Patrick Stewart is narrating it, and then he's the villain. It's like
most people like that game that did play it. It's got some detractors. A lot of people call it a God of War ripoff and just want to dismiss it.
I mean,
yeah, like it's still fun. Just because it's a derivative doesn't mean it's not entertaining.
I know.
It's the only Castlevania game I beat and played.
Well, and there's like the spoiler thing at the end of it, but then like they really shit all over that with what they move forward with because they had such a cool premise of that. Belmont becoming Dracula is so cool, but then.
Well, I'm not going to browbeat you and say, "Oh, you play the rest of the series," but you should try to play more of it.
Yeah. It's good. You should play it. That's kind of play Symphony, play 1.
Yeah, I was gonna say like just like play Super and 1 just to know what they are for nostalgia, but you have no reason. Like Symphony of the Night is one of the best games ever made.
Yeah,
like just play it. Like
independent of genre or console, it's just one of the best video games ever made. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, God, I go back to that game like once a year.
Rondo of Blood, though, is, I think, my favorite Castlevania.
It's either that or Bloodlines for me.
Bloodlines is fucking awesome, too. Honestly, all this I know Rondo's technically an 8-bit game, whatever. The TurboGrafx got a bunch of add-ons to give it more power. But I consider it a 16-bit.
It's the same generation in my book, too.
All the 16-bit Castlevanias fucking rule. They're all different from each other.
They are. Yeah, Super's good. And Rondo, like we were saying before, kind of that brick foundation, and then Bloodlines builds onto that, and then you get Symphony. I mean, I'm a sucker for it. The first one I remember truly playing was Symphony too, but
same here.
It's so
that was
different.
My first exposure.
But I mean, Symphony's by far it's one of my favorite games ever. So it's like head and shoulders to me. It's my favorite. But I also appreciate the series. I love the series separately for what it is. Those old games are hard as fuck too, especially like 2 and 3 are so odd. In some ways,
just hard as fucking all hell.
So fucking good though.
What sucks about 3 is they made it more difficult for the Western release. It's like artificially harder than like what the Japanese release is.
That's interesting.
That happened a lot back then. For some reason, I think it was because sometimes I heard it had something to do with the rental market, where like they know. Well, Americans rent games in Japan. It was actually illegal to rent games in Japan. I think it might still be.
Is, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. So they're not worried about that shit. But in America, it's like, oh man, in America and Europe, you can rent games. That means we have to make them fucking harder.
Oh yeah, that was the whole thing. That was the whole like craze as we were growing up. Every fucking game, you're like, oh yeah, that's my favorite cartoon or my favorite movie, Disney movie or whatever. And you go and you're like, this is hard as fuck. And it's
God damn it! Why is it so hard?
It's because of the rental industry. Fucking Blockbuster. Yeah.
It wasn't their fault.
No, it's not their fault. They were
just
cogging the machine. Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of all I've been watching. I did finish a book, but it's short. I'm gonna save it for like fucking next week or something. Talk about it. So.
Okay.
I'm done.
You done?
I'm fucking done.
Yeah, Toru Hagihara was the name, I think. For
Hagihara was the guy that directed Rondo Blood and the Game Boy games.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, we don't have any news. It's just some CM Punk news, but we'll talk about that on Getting Some Color because some Hogan shit, like Chaz said. But
Getting Some Color is delayed once more because I have to do work obligations.
Yes.
Don't worry, Dirt Sheets will entertain us with their stories.
Yeah.
Ah, fuck. I can't deal with that single brain-celled middle school bullshit.
That fucking shit. Honestly, they're responsible for a lot of this still. Honestly.
Yeah.
Like, people should stop reading their shit, like, because if we just ignore them, they won't get money and they'll go away. But that's how it is.
That's how it is. But if you want to catch Getting Some Color, Lost in Nightmares, Big Trouble with Podcasts, podcasts to surpass Metal Gear when it eventually comes out, make sure you go on all podcast services. Also, we're on YouTube, so look up Big Trouble with Podcasts, Couch Entertainments, and on my Twitch. We're on JoeDubs35. But yeah, next week, remember Death Sentence, and I'm also going to be announcing what our new format's going to be from here on out. So for Big Trouble with Podcasts. But until next time, everybody, we will see you next week. Peace.
Thanks for listening.
Hasta la vista, baby.
I'm trying to
Stabbing weapons.
I'm trying to find a,
Whack. His gear, whack. His jewelry, whack. His foot stance, whack. The way that he talks, whack. The way that he does